hopefully, oh shit, have I turned it on? Yeah, I have. And hopefully we are live. Good evening, everybody. Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 4th of October, 2025. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic weekend. And thanks for joining us on this rather wet and windy, dreary evening. Hopefully you're doing well wherever you are and your fence panels are still remaining fully erected and other parts of your building structures are firmly intact. Hopefully this is working. Can you hear me?
Spamming the old gab so it wasn't Davey.
That wasn't Dave, that was me. I was just being a dick. It happens. Sound is working. Yeah, everything looks like it's good. Loud and clear. Excellent. Yeah, we're all good. Excellent stuff. There's something weird going on in YouTube Studio at the moment. Whereas we use TubeBuddy as like a kind of add-on to YouTube to do things like thumbnails and other stats and what have you. And for some reason on the top of the screen at the moment, it's just, yeah, it's gone a bit berserk. There's 4 tabs saying give feedback, and there's 4 TubeBuddy tabs as well. So I think it's something to do with the new layout in YouTube. If you've looked at it recently, you may or may not be experiencing this. There's a new layout, so if you look at your icons where it says play and pause and your volume control, you'll probably find they've got like a surround around the outside, like a bit bubbly. No doubt trying to copy Apple's iOS 26 kind of design. It's a thing. But yeah, it seems to have broken the YouTube Studio picture from my end. So anyway, hopefully everything is all good. Let's make sure the overhead is working. Yeah, that seems to be fine. Although it's having a little bit of an autofocus moment. Probably because that box is higher than this rest of it, but anyway, whatever. It works. Stream desktop. Yeah, you can see there on the left hand side at the top. So give feedback, TubeBuddy, give feedback, TubeBuddy, give feedback, TubeBuddy, give feedback, TubeBuddy. It's all looking a little bit strange. But anyway, it is what it is. So, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's if you hear the wind whistling, there's not really a great deal I can do about that. The window is slightly ajar to let some fresh air in here because it's weird. It's a little bit humid, a little bit cold, and a little bit hot. And with the studio lights, it's a bizarre setup in this tiny little room, which is
freezing all day.
Yeah, cold all day. We measured this room. What is it, 12 by 10 or something, or 12 by 9? It's a small room. This is basically a small bedroom, but it's our living room, stroke studio. So it is what it is.
In the UK, this would be classed as a big bedroom.
Yeah, in the UK, for modern houses, this would be classed as being huge. There's Otis. Hello, Otis. Say hello to the people. Don't drink my drink, though.
I could do a drink.
No, he's having a bit of food now. There we go. So yeah, lots of things to talk about in the stream tonight. The main kind of concept behind it is going to be bargains, which myself and members of the community, especially those that are on Discord, have managed to bag some bargains. We've got some bargains which are bargains, hence the thumbnail of the stream. There was a asterisk next to the this week and bargains, because some of them aren't entirely bargains, and some of them weren't necessarily this week. So in full disclosure, it isn't exactly as it is described, but I was in a rush and I was making a thumbnail, so it is what it is. Some of the items on tonight's stream will be shown.
That's John's living room. It's 50 meters squared.
Wow. Jeepers. Some of the items are actually from Dave Aitken, long-time member of the community. He actually lives local, and quite often if he buys anything, normally he actually wins a lot of these eBay auctions that come up on our bot. They come up and he gets them. He is that kind of the eBay sniper. He just gets in there and he buys stuff. We both bought RTX 4070s this week, which both come up as really good bargains on the eBay bot. Now, for those of you that are not sure what it is, over on our Discord, which you're more than welcome to join, it's completely free of charge, we have integrated at great expense a eBay bot, which basically trawls through eBay UK and Ireland and looks for deals. So there's preset limits on how much a product kind of should cost, or at least we would be prepared to pay. And if an item comes up and it's within that tolerance, it will come up as a ping in the eBay bot room. And then if you want to buy it, you can buy it and potentially save yourself some money. And also, in full disclosure, the links that come up in that bot are actually affiliated. So we do get a very, very small commission based on your purchases. It doesn't obviously cost you anything extra. You just pay whatever you pay. And hopefully you'll be saving a significant chunk of cash anyway. So the very small commission that we make from that is literally is a very small drop in the ocean. Is pence generally on most things. But it all goes to help out the channel. Every little helps, as they say. And the same goes for the Amazon bot as well. There's an Amazon bot which converts links. Also, loads of deals on there, which some of you kind people out there post into the bargains no chat room, and they come up again. Same deal. We do get a very, very small commission from Amazon purchases. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and chances are the prices that have been posted are either really good deals or pricing errors. So if you get in quick, you can get yourself a stonking bargain. So anything that we make as commission is just the icing on the cake, at least it is for us. And hopefully you'll save some money. So it's a win-win for all of us. That's the way I look at it.
Not if you're in a different country, though.
Yeah, if you're in a different country, we apologise, but it's mostly because we're in the UK. It is centred around the UK, Ireland, Scotland, etc. Wales, almost forgot. It's based around the British Isles, but there are also links for EU countries and also obviously Canada, Australia, the US, etc., etc. So you don't see them as often because we're obviously UK based, but they are there. Anyway, there you go. Oh, and here's Dave. All right, Dave, you going over?
No, not the camera off their notes.
Go on in.
Davey.
What have you done? Your eyeball. Got a bad eye? Bless him.
Theo asked, what's his name?
That is Dave. He's the big fluffy ball. The other one that was on just now is Otis. And they're both the offspring of young Poppy.
And then we've got Flame and Maisie.
And over somewhere, Flame I think is over there. Maisie's over there. Candy, I'm not sure where she is. We've got 6 cats. So it is often bedlam in here, especially when I'm trying to film things. They seem to love this desk. They like being in this room. I suppose it's because me and Catherine are here all the time, so they like to be in here with us.
They love me.
And there's nowhere else really to go because it's just like chaos in this room. So yeah, they like the table. We put pizza boxes, empty pizza boxes obviously, and Amazon boxes on the table for them to sit in, so I can quickly, if I need to, just pick up the whole box with the cat inside, move, get out of the way, I'm filming, and yeah, that's how it works.
Back on the table. Cat's seeking more the wood burner perhaps. Well, we lit the one in the front room to try and entice them in there.
We did, yeah. Yeah, we lit the one in the other room. We have done a couple of times, and it sort of works. Dave goes in there and gets really close up to the fire, bless him. He likes cuddling up to the fire. Candy does as well. They're the two that do it the most. The others don't really seem particularly bothered by it, do they?
No.
It's Candy and Dave really, and Otis doesn't seem bothered much. Flame just doesn't really move.
With his name.
Yeah. Alessa says, Mike never knew one day he'd own a cat house. Yeah, if I'd have known, I'd have made other sensible choices in my life. There you go.
Are we cat people?
We're not really cat people, not by choice. Rasher says, howdy doody all. My missus left me because I'm too insecure. No, wait, she's back. She just went to make a cup of tea. Mark's been doing some welding upside down. Yeah, that's never a good idea. Especially if you get red hot nuts. You have to read the chat to understand what that means.
Dave.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much... Yeah, Nick Barnes says, our Molly seeks out the sunshine or dives under the covers. Yeah, our cats are kind of like almost like an alarm clock, especially if they're hungry. Come up and start pulling it.
I don't think they're hungry, because Angel feeds them, doesn't she? And when you come down, they always have food.
All right, Dave?
Or when I come down, they always have food. They definitely have food by the time you come down.
Where you go, mate? Come on then. Come here. Come on, Dave. You're not going to park there now, are you? You aren't you?
He's sort of off.
Is he on camera still?
Only a little bit.
Oh, what the heck. We'll carry on regardless. Dave Under says Dave is the best cat. There you go, Dave. You're the best cat, apparently. Yeah. I shouldn't really have a favourite, and I don't really have a favourite. But Dave is kind of mine. He generally comes to me. Don't you, Dave?
I designed him a Christmas T-shirt with him and Dave on, but he didn't like it. Dave's going back for some more.
Sky says, cats are funny creatures. They just love to be in the middle. They do seem to. And he's right in the way now. Dave! Please, Dave. It's been a long day. That is Kitty.
Maybe.
Yeah, Dave is pretty cool, to be fair.
Food bottle.
He's the one he's the most whingy one. He's always like kind of.
It's not whingy, verbal.
He's the most verbal one. Yeah, he makes lots of funny noises all the time, and yeah, he does come and visit us now and then.
Otis is the most verbal.
Otis is the loudest one. Don't you like that? Don't you like that, mate?
He's filled up.
Come on in. Come sit on my lap. Come on. I'll move that out of the way. Come here. Dave. Come on. All right, go and sit in the pizza box. That's really comfortable. It's got paper on it and everything. Right, we'll let him get on with doing that. I real says Mike, the cat lady. I know. Hashtag blame Dave, definitely. Firephone says, hello, Magic Mike. How you doing? Funny noises. Sounds like some YouTuber. Yeah, I get stick about my accent. Not very often, to be fair. I mostly get stick from Kath. Because today, and at some point in my distant past, rather, not future, I'm not a time traveller, I struggle with the word roll, or roll, as in a bread roll, or...
You're saying it posh now, right?
I'm not, roll. So there used to be a place in Bristol called Magic Roll, or Magic Roll, however you want to pronounce it. And it was great. It was Lebanese wraps, so you could have a choice of fillings in there. It is wonderful stuff. Yeah, they did some really, really nice gear. I used to love going to Magic Roll. It was in the Clifton area to begin with, but then they also had one local to us in an area called Fish Ponds, which is a couple of miles away, which actually was on the way home if you went a certain way. So it was quite handy, but I only went in there probably twice whilst it was open, which is a shame. And I really do miss it. But Kath always brings that up, Magic Roll. And tonight for tea we had some steaks, and rather than going through the whole palaver, basically we had some part baked rolls. So we baked them, cut them open, absolutely plastered them in butter, and then chucked the steaks in, and yeah, it's all good. Steak sandwich basically. And whenever I was doing it, I was like, "Well, yeah, the rolls are on top, or the rolls are on top," and she's like, "Magic rolls." It's like.
No, because we were driving. What was we doing? We were driving something to get the magic rules, weren't we?
Yeah, we were going to get the magic rolls. Magic rules.
And you'd just been telling the children to speak properly. It's
oh, yeah.
not water.
Yeah, I'd literally just chastised the children in the back of the car for not speaking properly, and then I said, let's go magic rule. Anyway.
So that's why it was funny. That's why I always say it, because it just reminds me of us having that thing in the car.
Firephone says, Mike, is there any way to unsubscribe from the BBC in the UK? Yeah, you just don't pay the licence and don't watch TV. Or don't go on the bbc.co's websites and things like that.
If you tell them, they leave you alone for 2 years. But after 2 years, they keep pestering you again. So we told them twice, and they still keep pestering us now. So
yeah, there you go.
They can just pester us as much as they like.
Dave Venner says, I live in Clifton, named after that town in the UK. Is it actually twinned or named after? Well, Clifton in Bristol is not really a town. It's like a suburb of Bristol. So like you've got your little areas down in Fish Ponds, Mangotsfield, whatever. Clifton is like one of the kind of what is deemed as being one of the kind of upper class or high cost areas to live. It's a little bit of a weird one because there's parts of it which are pretty rough and ready. There's parts of it which are full of students and student housing, and there's parts of it which are filled with multi-million-pound houses. So yeah, it's a really strange area. But Clifton Down, the Suspension Bridge, that's all in that kind of general area.
Bristol
so
Zoo used to be,
yeah, Bristol Zoo used to be in that area. Lots of
there.
other things. I haven't been there in what, 7, 8 years, I guess, maybe longer than that. But I haven't been there for a long time. But yeah, Dutch Shan says, oh, something similar where I live. It's a kind of coolish place. And I used to work in a computer shop which was in Gloucester Road, which Gloucester Road in the UK, in Bristol, is basically I think it's one of the longest roads, and it's got the most shops on it, like independent shops, pretty much in Europe, I believe. and I think it's about 3 miles long, maybe 4 miles long. I'm not entirely sure. It's a
3 independent shops.
it's a long road,
More.
and most of the roads that kind of spur off of it go out towards places like Redland and Clifton and stuff like that. So, yeah, we used to have a massive kind of student turnover every time the terms changed. We get all the students into the shop buying new routers.
Every time the grants came out, you know.
Yeah, or when the college grants came out, the shop would be full. People, new PCs, routers, wireless dongles, cables, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, there you go. There's a little thing for you there. Firephone says, are properties cheaper in Wales than in Bristol area, Mike? In general, I would say yes, but it depends where in Wales. Wales as a country is obviously quite a big place, and there's parts in slightly more central Wales and northern Wales, and maybe even kind of towards the east of Wales more so, which are actually quite barren areas, really. Not many things about, so not much work prospects. Obviously, therefore, cheaper housing. They do make clouds, yes. There's some areas of Wales which are extremely cheap, and you could almost buy an entire street for a couple of £1,000. But
I don't know if that's true now. They don't charge for the bridge.
Yeah, in places like the capital, Cardiff, some of the places just around that area as well, they can be very expensive. Some of the coastal areas, towards the south and towards probably even actually towards the north of Wales as well, those can also be very expensive. So it really does depend.
Wales big, smaller than my local council area, David.
It probably is, yeah. Well,
our whole country probably is.
Wales is Wales is a bit of a funny one. Mind you, this whole island is a bit of a funny one. Let's be fair.
You can drive from here all the way over to Wales and just see fields practically the whole journey, and you don't see any sheep at all, or any animals.
It is. I don't know whether they keep the sheep tucked away for safety's sake.
That's what
but
they told me.
in general, yeah, you can drive from Bristol or Gloucester or wherever into Wales, even from like Liverpool, etc. You can come down through that way, and yeah, it's just
you don't see any animals.
Fields in fields in fields in fields in fields with basically nothing in them. It's really weird.
We should get Welsh properties on the Discord bot deal tracker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Welsh houses for sale. They'd probably be cheaper than some of the motherboards we buy, and it's probably cheaper than some of the graphics cards, that's for sure. Irie Wolfman, have you ever posted anything to Lanfergin? I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that's a super long name. Not many people can pull that off. There's a few Welsh people we worked with who could say that, but not many. Rasher says, how do you know all the house prices in Wales, thinking of moving there? Years and years ago, it would have been somewhat on our radar a little bit, especially when we worked for Casualty. So Casualty was originally filmed in Bristol, but they moved it in 2011, I think it was, to Cardiff. So around about that time, we were considering lots of different options of what to do. The children were still young, so there was kind of maybe a possibility of buying a second house and having one house over there, one house here. But it's very, very kind of, we were just throwing ideas around and looking at prices. Prices obviously since then have changed dramatically. In general, yeah, I'm not too sure. Again, like anything, like any area, depending what street you live in and what location you are, some houses can still be very expensive, some could be very cheap. It is very dependent. If you go by average house prices, I'd never really find those to be particularly accurate, because like an average is taking into account all the crap and all the amazing ones. So I don't think it really...
What was Casualty?
What was Casualty? Casualty is a TV programme, funnily enough, on the BBC, which we're trying to unsubscribe from, which is a medical drama which started in 1984, I think it was.
In London.
Yeah, weirdly in London, in TV Centre. But they moved it to Bristol in the first year or two, I think it was. And it's been filmed in Bristol from 84/85 through to, well, basically 2011. So it spent a long time in Bristol, and then the last, 13 years it's been filmed over in Cardiff in the Bay Area.
As we left in 2018.
Yeah. That's right.
They were filming in Bristol then.
Sky says, holy smokes, Mike and Kath could afford a second house. Ballers. Well, what it was at the time, there was this weird thing, because I was a staff member at the BBC, if you have to move,
Where I was working,
like, yeah, is being staff at the BBC is a super, super rare thing. There are, well, I think in terms of actual, like, people, like, normal, everyday people that work for the BBC, I think there's less than 100 in the entire UK that are actually members of full-time staff. The rest are all on contracts or freelance or whatever. But even like some of the producers and stuff, they're just on short-term contracts. So being a staff member is a really unusual thing. And there's a few of us which were on the staff. I think there's 5 of us in total, maybe 6 that worked at Casualty that were staff, and that was because of an administrative mistake, which basically made us all full-time staff, which was excellent. But yeah, when that happened, because we were moving and it was more than a certain amount of distance, they were saying, like, obviously because it's more than commuting distance, they would pay a sizable chunk for relocation.
40%.
Or if you bought a place, they would pay, I think it was almost 40% of the price of the house. So it was like, buying a house for 40% discount, that is too good an opportunity to miss. So we'd have borrowed some money to buy a house, and then obviously they would have subbed up the rest. Which, yeah, in hindsight, it would have been a really good thing to do. But again, now looking back, it probably wouldn't have been, because we've escaped it. And yeah, like anything, if you get offered money to do things, it's one of those things which also is an entrapment as well. It kind of keeps you hooked in.
Like I worked for the bank and they wanted me to have a staff mortgage, but I didn't want to be trapped working for them. So I'd rather pay more to not have that entrapment.
Ira Wolfman says Mike could have been Jeff Collier. He was actually really nice. There's quite a few of the characters who we talk to on a relatively regular basis. Matt, can't think what his surname was now. Matt. Can't think. Matt was a lovely guy. Genuinely a really decent bloke. He played Jeff. He was the one. Jeff and Dixie.
The character's name.
Yeah, Jeff Collier's the character.
Paramedic.
Paramedic. Yeah. Can't think what his name is. Matt. Someone's going to have to put it in the chat. What was his name? Matt Bardock. That's it. Thank you. Matt Bardock. Yeah, he was great. And Jane Hazelgrove, who played Dixie, she was fantastic. She was hilarious. She really did not give a shit. She really didn't. She was excellent.
Didn't really know her either.
Anyway, moving on before we get too bogged down
We were only on
in history.
But we were only like glorified cleaners.
Yeah, we were. I was in charge of the prop store, so it was kind of like. It was basically a glorified cleaner, as Kath said. Essentially, I moved bits and pieces around. I organised them. I decided. Well, I didn't decide. I helped the art directors choose props for episodes, made suggestions, made computer graphics. Although that slipped after a while, I kind of didn't have time to do all that stuff, so they subbed that out to someone else. But yeah, I was just kind of making sure that the episodes had continuity props and all that kind of stuff. Or if they went to dress a drug den, then I would be the one to provide them with the drugs. No, joking. We would do things like...
That would be our daughter.
we did actually get to the point where we sat there in the office rolling up joints for props and getting like pepper or powder or whatever to make up druggy bags.
For heroin. Play-Doh wasn't there or something?
Did we use, was it dried out Play-Doh or something?
I don't know.
I think at one point we used brown sugar as well.
And they also had like icing pills.
Oh yeah.
Hearts.
Loads of things like that. It was fun. It was different. There was something different every day, but it also become very monotonous as well. Like if anyone's watched Casualty, the scripts were basically recycled. So every couple of years you'd have exactly the same thing. Like, oh, there's a drug dealer in town and everyone's getting sick off the drugs, and it got a bit kind of monotonous, but it was good.
It was more fun. About the staff of Casualty rather than the actual accidents.
It did get to. Originally, it was great because it was about accidents and kind of like the build up to the accidents, and you could kind of see it happening, but then it didn't, and then something else went wrong. So yeah, it started off about the medicine, and the kind of procedures, but
No, it wasn't really
it got very
medicine,
soapy after a while.
Then it got all pushy.
Yeah.
Candy. And soapy, yeah.
So yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. It was one of those jobs where, although the days were always very similar, they were always different as well. So even if like every summer towards the end of June or July, I think it was, we'd be filming Christmas. So every year the Christmas decorations would come out around about June through to around about September time or August time. And then you'd pack it all away nice and neatly for next year. And then Christmas would come for real. And everyone would be like, oh, can we borrow some Christmas decorations to put in the offices? It's like, yes, of course, that's fine. I wasn't like that towards the end. I was getting more and more militant. But yeah, it was good because there's always something. If you needed something, it was great. Like if you're like, oh, I've got some logs that need splitting. Have we got an axe? Funnily enough, we used one on that episode. Have an axe or power tools, you name it. It was fun. Even if you needed something like, oh, I've got a relative
Like
staying.
Not broke her leg, but hurt her leg.
Oh yeah.
Needed a crutch.
Angel needed some crutches. Like, yeah, funny enough, I've got some of those. If you have someone to stay, you need a spare bed. Like, yeah, there's a bed. It was pretty cool for that. Anyway, we are getting. Yeah, Sky says Christmas in July, Australia. Yeah, it kind of did feel like that a little bit. It was very weird. Anyway, good evening, those of you that are with us. Sorry to bore you with tales of my ex-lifetime experience. Let's talk about some deals. So you've probably seen it already, or maybe you haven't. If you look at the video description, you'll see what the items are and the prices that were actually paid for them. I thought it's best to do that because guaranteed by the time I actually get around to talking about it, I will have forgotten. I haven't done my usual trick of writing it inside the boxes, which I should do.
The usual trick? Have you ever done it?
And maybe I will. I've done it a few times, yeah, because I'm getting to the point where I'm stocking up a few bits. I should write what I paid for them. Because what I tend to do, those of you who don't know how it works, obviously we review computer parts and components. We get sent them, we get gifted them, etc., etc., and we borrow them as well. So what I tend to do is get the parts, and then when I've got enough parts to make a PC, I will build a PC and then sell that on so I can then use that money to buy new PC parts to review. And it basically is like a sausage factory. So we get all the ingredients, we wait until we got them all, push it into the sausage machine, mincer. We pop it in the mincer, like they used to at the BBC. Put it into the mincer, create the sausage. Sorry. We create a string of sausages and then sell those sausages. Although obviously in this particular instance, the sausages are PCs. Yeah, I've gone way off track there, haven't I? Hopefully you get the general idea. So yeah, that's essentially what we do. And it helps me if I actually write the prices inside the boxes, because what I tend to do is I sell the PCs at basically what they've cost me, or what they've cost me, or what the market value is. So say for instance, like this motherboard, if I was given this motherboard, its approximate value, brand spanking new, is £150. So that I would probably value it somewhere around about 70 to 80, because on the used market, that's kind of the price you'd pay for it if you're lucky, which I think is then a fair price, because I wouldn't charge obviously full price retail, because you might as well just buy a brand new retail purchase, if you get the general idea. So I sell the PCs basically so I cover my expenses and maybe a couple of quid if I'm lucky. Quite often the people on Facebook Marketplace haggle like crazy and offer you silly prices, and it gets to the point where it's just like, I don't have the time or energy to keep dealing with these questions, so I'll just sell it for what I can get for it. And that way it's done and dusted, and I can just move on to the next PC. So that is kind of where we're at. Hey Joe, how you doing? Yeah, so that's why I write the prices inside the boxes. So when I come to do the PC, I come to total up the prices, like what did this actually cost me? So rather than having to go through all of my receipts and my spreadsheets and looking through things, it's easier just to look inside the box to see what I've written in there. And I try and do it discreetly, so rather than like putting a big pound sign in whatever it is, I just do it like a 4-digit or 5-digit code, depending on how much it costs me. So to most people, a 5-digit code or 4-digit code is going to mean absolutely nothing if there's not like a decimal point or a pound sign. So it's quite a discreet way of doing it, and yeah, it works for me. So let's Firephone says, why Facebook Marketplace? eBay better. The thing is, eBay is good for boxed items, but selling a PC on eBay is never a good idea. It's very difficult to find a company in the UK which will allow you to send a whole PC, especially when the ones that we do with like dual tempered glass, power supply, graphics card, etc. It gets to be quite heavy, round about somewhere between, I don't know, 8 to 15 kilos depending on the PC. And also because of the size of the boxes, also the additional boxes, which I also like to send as well, just so they've got all the parts should they ever need it and for returning, etc. So it makes a rather large package, which we're not set up to do, and it's prohibitively expensive, especially if you insure it for the full value of the PC, which again also has its drawbacks, because potentially if you haven't got the receipt, if it's like an item was gifted to you or you received it for a review sample, you will not have a receipt. So actually making an insurance claim is really hard to do. So and also making sure that it gets there in one piece. It's just a thing which is fraught with nightmares. How many of you have watched videos that Steve done from Gamers Nexus where they look at OEM PCs that have been sent, and I would say at least 50% of the ones that he's reviewed have had some damage in shipment. And I think that is a fair thing. Even with the best will in the world, even if you go to all the kind of the lengths to make sure that you've got like padding inside the boxes and all that kind of stuff, it's still a very potentially dangerous thing to do. And again, because we're selling these PCs at pretty much cost price, by the time you factor in £50 postage, roughly, the time and effort to package it all up, and also then the possibility that eBay are going to take your money away because the items turned up damaged, or they say it's damaged and you've got to ship it back and all that hassle. Honestly, for the money that we're making on it, if we were making like hundreds of pounds on each PC, yeah, I could probably see that be worth doing. But we literally aren't. We're making sometimes a loss when it comes into postage as well. Obviously, that's why we tend not to do it. Normally, I'll either break even, make a slight loss. Now and then I'll make like £50, maybe £100 if I'm really lucky. If I've got something or a load of parts for like nothing at all, then of course then there's some profit in it. But majority of the time, it's just I'm at the kind of the break-even point, because a lot of this stuff I buy brand new from Amazon. So obviously, you put a whole PC together with parts that you bought full retail price for, you're not really going to make a profit. It's very hard to do. It's actually hard to sell it even at less than cost. So hopefully you kind of understand where I'm coming from there. But I'm not dismissing the idea, but yeah, for us, it's just not really practical. It has been very tempted though. And yeah, like you said, we would probably potentially make a lot more money per PC. But again, it's just the risk factor involved. I love it that people come to the house or meet up locally or whatever, get to see the PC running, they're happy, money's transferred. So at least then you know exactly, like, they've had the opportunity to test the PC. If there's any problems after the fact, it's like, well, come on, like, it was working when it was here, you saw it all working. Not that that happens, although very rarely it does. So yeah, we try to eradicate any potential areas of problem.
Forever Greatest AI.
Where is it? Forever Greatest AI. I can't see that one. Whereabouts is that?
Up a bit, not far from the bottom. Probably the first one from the bottom. If you scroll up a bit.
All right, I can't see it yet then. I can't see it. Kath said I got to do a question, but I can't see it.
Not a question.
Oh, right.
It just says.
What name was it again?
Forever AI.
Forever AI. I can't see that.
It's 848.
Oh, right. That's right off my screen. Forever Great Today. Mike, mate, you helped me a lot with building my first PC last year. I'm thinking of going to AM5 soon. Awesome. Glad the videos have been helpful. That's what we do. H786 has got an eBay refurbished 9070 XT for £500. Well, I'm assuming that's £500. That's good. Firephone says, how do they haggle, Mike? They just offer you a lot less. Like, for instance, if I put a PC on for, I don't know, a nice PC, which is probably worth about £1,000, I'll put it on for somewhere around £800, and then they'll just message saying, will you take 500 for it? It's like, no. Sometimes they'll come around and they'll have a look at it and say, so is that your best price? And it's like, by the time I've set it all up and they've seen it, it's like...
I don't think they ever haggle anymore, do they?
No, very rarely do they. Sometimes they say, like, is that the best you can do?
They haggle before.
And sometimes I'll say, like, I can take off 25 quid, or
like
do you want a keyboard and mouse? I could throw that in, that sort of thing.
Like there was a little child that saved up his pocket money and done gardening and stuff.
Yeah. Did we give him some money back? We did, didn't we?
I think he paid the full amount and then we gave him some back.
Yeah. There was a bloke who come round. His kid had been doing like paper rounds and jobs and what have you to make some money. It was their first PC that they bought, and I think it was £700, wasn't it?
He saved it all up.
He saved it all up, and he was counting out all his money, and he handed it over. And I thought, yeah, I'll just give him 50 quid back. So there you go. Get yourself some games or something for your PC. Enjoy it, and well done for saving up the money. Because that's like at that age, if I'd saved up that sort of money, it'd have been like, well, it wouldn't have happened because I'd have spent it on booze, cigarettes, or drugs, or Burger King, probably. So fair play to him for that. Oh yeah, I recognise it. What was it? Cool Cat says, Mike, when you eventually, this is going to be a good one. Mike, when you eventually become a billionaire, will you live as a playboy on a yacht in Monte Carlo, or on your own, or will Dave and Kath be coming with you?
Oh, bloody cheap. Cats don't like water.
Cats don't like water for a start, and I don't think I'd like it on a yacht as a playboy. I'm not sure if they'd have very good Wi-Fi reception. Not that I'd probably need it. No, I'm never going to be I'm not going to say never, because you never know, but
I'm sure digital currency would come in before then.
Yeah,
And you're not allowed.
I'm imagining I would probably only be a billionaire if I went to some country where there's like some crazy inflationary rates and like it cost you like 10 billion whatever for a loaf of bread or something stupid. Yeah.
Big amounts.
I pulled a muscle in my leg. Right, where did we get to? Right, let's talk about these bargains, because this is gonna be this is gonna go on forever otherwise. Charles says, you know, Mike does look like he could be a Bond villain. Yeah. On my if I can find it, I probably still have got it somewhere. On my BBC Pass, I did look like a Samoan rugby player. It was quite terrifying. I just before I started there,
blue and cream
I put on a lot of weight.
Without a hood.
Yeah, like a zip-up jacket, yeah. I still had a little bit of hair. Actually, I looked like The Rock in that new film. But a bit fatter.
Leave my hair alone.
Cool Cat says, Mike Cath, thank you for fielding my silly question. Bless you.
But cats don't like water.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
You'd have to be in the penthouse suite.
Yeah, that's true. Let's start off with the motherboard. Now this one, I'm going to get out of the way quickly because this isn't a bargain as such, but I got it cheaper than it should be. But it's also a product which technically shouldn't really exist. It's a very strange one. So this motherboard, as you can probably already see, is the MSI B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi 6E. Now, the Gaming Plus range, there's quite a few different models. This is almost harking back to the Tomahawk days, where there was like the Tomahawk Max, the Tomahawk Max Plus, or whatever it was. There was various different ones anyway that were around. This one actually makes it even weirder, because this motherboard, for all intents and purposes, is exactly the same board as the B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, which immediately should be like, okay, so why does this exist? We'll see why it exists, because there's a couple of features on it which have changed. not dramatically, and actually in one instance it's actually regressed. So in some ways of thinking, this board is actually worse than the B650 gaming Wi-Fi. Now the B650 gaming Wi-Fi, if you're lucky on the used market, you can pick up for 80 to 120 pounds. If you're to buy it brand new, it's about 135 at the time of this recording or this video being made or whatever, or review. This is 149.99 was its original retail price. It has dipped down a little bit to 139, and I'm sure in the coming days, weeks, months, because of obviously you got Prime Day coming up on Wednesday, no, Tuesday and Wednesday. You've also got obviously Black Friday, Christmas sales, etc. So the prices are going to fluctuate. But this board also has another version, which is the B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Missing the 6E. It's a different color board, and that board actually has Wi-Fi 7, 5 gigabit Ethernet, better VRM, and is about £180. So you know immediately there's going to be some confusion, and also there's obviously going to be confusion because people doing BIOS updates. Most people, when you're looking at a motherboard, you'll probably just take the headline. You won't worry about the secondary bit. So you go to MSI or you go to Google, type in B850 Gaming Plus. And immediately there's going to be someone who's going to click on the very first link, go to it, download the BIOS. Can't update my BIOS. What's going on? So to make things even more confusing, there's also a B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi PTZ, which is the Project Zero, which again is the same as the Wi-Fi 7 version of this, but with the connectors on the back and a different color. So it's super, super confusing. And I think it's going to be one of those things where a lot of people are going to be caught out with this, and it's going to be very easy to overpay. But also on the flip side, potentially it's going to be easy to get a bargain, because if it's priced or bundled in the wrong basket when they're picking it from the warehouses, Amazon or whatever, you might get the wrong version, so you might get an upgrade. But if you're... What's that? Oh, talk to Angel.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. No, that's all right. So yeah, this is a bizarre one. So the B650 Game Plus Wi-Fi is the same board. The differences in this, the first immediate difference is the Wi-Fi antenna. So now, rather than being the screw-on antenna, you've now got the magnetic one with the cables. And rather than being screw-on connections, these are the reverse SMA or push fit. So you don't have to screw them on. Those just plug in. That's a nice upgrade. It's not obviously a big deal, but it is helpful. Also, it comes with the new Easy Connect connector, which again is a very strange addition. I don't know why they've done it. MSI have added a connector called the Easy Connect. It's a proprietary connector which gives you an additional PWM port and also an additional 5-volt 3-pin ARGB. Sorry, think about them. Which the board's already got 3 of them anyway, ARGB ports, so it doesn't really need it, but anyway, it's there. When it comes to the board itself, sorry, was this a warehouse deal, Mike? It was reduced £10 from 149 to 140. So I did get a little bit off it. It appears to be brand spanking new. So the board itself, as you can see, is in a kind of a grey colour, but it looks almost white and silver. So depending on what it's actually in, PC-wise, it could probably blend in quite well with a white build, silver, whatever. Yeah, you can get the general idea. It's not a bright white for sure. So the differences between this and the B650 Gaming Plus is this has a larger VRM cooler for the top and the side. Also has integrated I/O shield, whereas the B650 Gaming Plus had a detachable one that you had to put on yourself. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. The VRM is the same, the components are the same, the sound is the same, the layout is identical. You do get a slightly beefier heatsink over the top slot because this is now PCI Express Gen 5 rather than being Gen 4, which the B650 was, I believe. I'm not entirely sure on that, so do check that. That potentially is the only upgrade that I can see, obviously. Also, it's got the kind of like nipple pushes for your M.2 drives to secure them, so that's a nice upgrade rather than being those ones that you twist around the plastic bits. That's kind of cool. In terms of the actual layout as well, so PCI Express Gen 5 x4 maximum speed on the top slot, PCI Express Gen 4 x 16 on the graphics card port. Then you've got PCI Express Gen 3 x 1 for this port here. And PCI Express Gen 4 x 4 on the bottom slot. Those two are connected to the chipset. The graphics and the two M.2s are both from the CPU directly, using the 24 lanes which are available there. 4 RAM slots, so this will support, out of the box, 256 gigs of RAM, which is kind of nice, up to speeds of 8200 mega transfers per second. And a nice feature is it has had added, wow, that's hard, at the top of the slots there's also LEDs. So if you have your RAM and it's not plugged in all the way, you will get an LED on the top to say that the RAM is not powering or is not fully inserted. That is kind of nice. So not only have we got our normal D-LED diagnostic LEDs, we've also got some diagnostic LEDs actually on the RAM slots to detect any potential issues there from bad RAM, etc. Yes, Kath?
Dave Aiken says, no Gen 5 on a B850 weird, only on the M.2. And then David Underhill says some other stuff, so I don't know if you want to...
What does Dave Anderson say about that?
I'm not sure if it's all... But they're both saying they got it from the MSI site, so... I don't know if you can confirm any of that.
Right, David Underhill. Yeah, the B850 Gaming Plus does support Gen 5 on the top slot. This is the Gaming Plus 6E Wi-Fi. It's a different board. Hence the confusion. So this one, 100% is PCI Express. I think it even says on the board, actually, if I remember rightly. Next to wherever it is. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, immediately that is the trap. People are going to look at the B850 Gaming Plus and assume that the Wi-Fi 6E version is the same board, which it isn't. The reason for this is because it's just using a B850 chipset, which is a B650 chipset. They are the same thing. They're basically the predominant, I can't even pronounce that word, the 21, no, pro-monetary, whatever it is. It's the P21 chip on both boards. So it's exactly the same chipset, which is why it does what it does.
An 850E chipset.
The B650 Gaming Plus, the Wi-Fi 7 version, might be an E chipset. I'm not sure, if I'm honest. I've not seen that board yet, so in terms of the raw specs of it, I'm not sure. I just know that it is a different board and it's more expensive. I would imagine it is, but I don't know for sure. So the way that they've managed to get the extra lanes or the extra bandwidth for making this now Gen 5, whereas on the previous one it was Gen 4, is the USBs on the back. There was a Type-C port which was 20 gigabit per second. They've now downgraded that to 10 gigabit per second. So the USB Type-C on the back is now slower, which is a little bit of a trade-off. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird one. It's about £10 to £15 more expensive than the B650 Gaming Plus. Arguably, this is a nicer colour scheme because you don't have those weird sort of aqua blue accents on there saying Gaming Plus all over the place, where those bits are now grey. So it looks a little bit nicer, I think. The heatsink for the M.2 is better. The M.2 retention is better. Audio chipset, exactly the same. Again, it's the same board. You do have some slight improvements. Obviously, now with the fixed I/O, you've also got a clear CMOS and also the BIOS update button. The clear CMOS, press and hold 5 seconds, it'll reset back to defaults. The audio as well. So the B650 Gaming Plus had 6 analog outputs, whereas this is now relegated to 3. So a little bit of a change on there again. Also, there's an unusual button on the bottom, or not a button, a switch, which you can put a jumper over and it will make the board boot only from the onboard APU. So it disables the PCI Express slots, basically, and resets the defaults on the BIOS. But when you remove the jumper, it goes back to normal. That's a weird one. So not only have you got CMOS reset, you've also got the kind of safe boot, and also you've got the clear CMOS on the back. So 3 ways of clearing the CMOS, which is a little bit weird. But I do like the addition of the LEDs on the RAM to look for problems there. That's pretty cool. Overall,
still looks like one of the heat sinks is missing, not looking complete.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, just here, not having a heat sink on there. I'm not overly bothered about that. I understand where you're coming from, though, totally. It would make sense to have it there. And it would be a nice finisher for it, really. But anyway, so that is a kind of a brief overview of the board. Essentially, if you're looking at buying a new board and you're tossing up between the B650 Gaming Plus and this, the B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi 6E, I would personally spend the extra £10–15 to get this. It's a newer chipset. It's a nicer board design overall, I feel. Slightly nicer features on the RAM, slightly nicer features for the M.2 drives, better cooler for the M.2. But other than that, it's the same board.
Would you take it on the yacht with you and Dave?
This would go on the yacht with me and Dave, yeah. Me and B850 here would share a sangria or whatever it is.
With Dave. Your rusty can of Coke, Dave.
Yeah, rusty can of Coke. Right, Dave Underhill says MSI doesn't sell that stripped down 6E Mobo in Australia, as the better Wi-Fi 7 version is only $300 or dollars, which is cheaper but better specs. Yeah, I did notice actually when Hardware Unboxed recently did a roundup of budget MSI boards, they didn't have this one included, which was actually part of the reason why I bought it as well, because no one else has reviewed it as far as I can tell. It doesn't appear to exist outside of possibly the EU and the UK. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting one. Again, I got a little bit of a discount on it. I'm probably going to send it back, to be honest, because yeah, because I've taken bits out of it. No, I haven't. I'm joking.
That big bit missing off the
Yeah,
board.
it's got an M.2 slot missing, so I'm going to send it back. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I saw this and I thought, yeah, it's interesting in the fact that it doesn't need to exist. But now that AMD have stopped producing the B650 chipsets, or see, I don't understand how this works. I wish I knew somebody who had more knowledge. There must be some sort of physical difference between the B650 and the B850 on a chipset level. But as far as I can tell, there isn't. It is literally the same chipset, just divvied up differently. So I think the B850 basically specifies that you have to have a PCI Express Gen 5 top slot. Other than that, the rest of it is kind of do whatever you like with. The B, I think it's optionally to have a PCI Express Gen 5 graphics slot as well. But without seeing like the exact stuff from AMD side by side, it's a minefield, it really is. Although something else actually which is quite nice about this, if you are concerned about bifurcation or what slots you can use in conjunction with other things, this doesn't have any restrictions at all. So you can fill up all of the M.2 slots, you can fill up all of the PCI Express slots, and they will all work. There's no limitations on if you plug in something, it will drop the speeds on other devices, which is pretty cool.
User 457, is that what you just said?
User 457, IO lanes, PCI lanes.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, yeah. Technically, I suppose it's got 24 lanes, which come from the CPU, which will be for 16 of those will be for the graphics card slot, 4 of them will be for the M.2, the other 4 would be for the secondary M.2, and then they don't include the ones which go to, I guess you arguably could say it's 28, it's like 24/28, because 4 of the Gen 5 lanes go to the chipset to get divvied up there as well for I/O purposes. Anyway, there you go. That's the B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi 6E, possibly one of the most confusing and frustrating products in a very long time from MSI. I'm going to have a drink now because my throat feels like there's razor blades in it. CB says, nice board, but 2 M.2s is not enough. Yeah, it's a slightly odd decision. They seem to be putting more emphasis on USB bandwidth and M.2 speeds, as in highest speeds, when most people don't really care. Like, I would quite happily have 3 or 4 PCI Express Gen 3 slots rather than have a couple of 5s, or a 5 and a 4. But that's just me. Hey Crime Heat, how you doing? Viali says, but it only has 2 M.2, so I would hope it wouldn't split the lanes. Yeah, there is that to it. Although I think the B650 Gaming Plus, if you installed a card in the bottom slot, it changed it down to a ×2, and it made the M.2, the second M.2 PCI Express Gen 4 ×2 as well. Those did share, I think. It is a long time ago, so my memory might be a little bit shaky on that. But anyway, hey, there's Rick Lakes. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you. Next one, just a very, very quick one. These are a fantastic deal at the moment. Western Digital SN 580s. I had to double check them. There's a lot of 580s and 850s and 8s and 5s in modern stuff, and it's weird. So yeah, SN 580s. These are the 2 terabyte version. At the moment, these are £67.50, which is, I think, is a phenomenal deal. These are directly from SanDisk, or SanDisk, Western Digital, whatever you want to call them. Western Digital. On their site, there is a discount code, so you can get 2 of them. They're normally, I think it worked out 110 each or something, but they've reduced them down to some crazy figure. Limited time thing, so I bought a couple of those. I thought for 67 quid, like a 1 terabyte drive at the moment is like 50 in most places. So yeah.
Are they QLC?
No, they're TLC. They're TLC and HBM. I don't think I would like buying QLC drives nowadays. I think it's got to the point where QLC doesn't really need to be a thing. I would rather go with a TLC to get the longevity out of the drives. But yeah, I think those are cracking. £67.50. I originally found the deal on our Discord. I can't remember exactly who posted it, but you can go through the bargains chat and look for it. It's in there somewhere. Yeah, these are great. Fantastic price.
Dave's grazing again.
And not a bad speed either, up to 4150 megabits per second, or yeah, megabytes per second. PCI Express Gen 4x4 drive. So yeah, those are excellent value for money. I thought.
What's the difference, TLC and QC?
So it's just basically the cells. So you get triple level cells, or triple layer cells, or quad layer cells. And the more layers you have, basically the cheaper it is to make, and the less lifespan it has. And generally a little bit slower as well. So if you want the utmost reliability, you'd have a single level, or SLC. Then you get, actually no, I'm getting confused now. Yeah, there's SLC, yeah, single layer. I don't think you get a double layer. Maybe you don't. But yeah, triple layer, and you get the quad layer. I confused myself now, but yeah. Essentially, QLC is just really cheap, and they will basically wear out much quicker. Ah, that's it. Well done. MLC. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah. So you get SLC, single layer cells, MLC, multi-layer cells. Then you get TLC, triple level, and QLC, which is quad layer. There you go. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. I couldn't think of MLC for the life of me. My brain was fishing. It's like, no, I can't hook anything. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, as Matthew says there, 4 bits per cell, lower speed, lower endurance. That's what it comes down to. So drive endurance. Because drives fail, cells can fail, and yeah, it's just not great. It used to be, QLC used to be quite good because it made the drives a lot cheaper. Whereas now, from what I can tell, the price difference between a QLC and a TLC is basically nothing. So there's no real point going for QLCs. A lot of the, well, this isn't not a racist thing or a bad thing. It's just like a lot of the kind of unbranded Chinese drives tend to be QLC because they're just cheaper to make. It's not a China thing, but it kind of is as well at the same time, if you know what I mean. Even though a lot of the stuff is made in China, but you know what I mean, like the Chinesium brands. Anyway, moving on before I get myself into trouble. So this was another bargain. This actually was a genuine bona fide bargain. This was from Amazon as well. This is
Irish now.
potato. This is the genuine ROG Strix B650 Gaming Wi-Fi -A. The -A is the important bit. So yeah, this was a cracking deal. Normally these are about 160 to 170 pounds because obviously ASUS tax. But this one was, I believe it was 101, well, 102 pounds for argument's sake from Amazon. This was in their warehouse deals. It appears to be brand spanking new, which is awesome. And everything appears to be there as well, which is excellent. And yeah, if you want a nice looking board with pretty much all the features that we had on the B850, you can't go too far wrong. Let's get it out, we'll have a quick look. Cheers, Dutch Jan.
What for?
Kingston link.
Yeah, to tell the difference between
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. So, there we go. Yeah, nice looking board, and we've now got 3 M.2 slots. Hence the reason why I'm probably going to send the other one back, because this is pretty cool. So, better audio, better M.2s, nicer features. You've got the easy quick release for the graphics card as well. Much beefier heatsink.
Viali says ASUS quality.
ASUS quality, exactly. Nice RGB. You've also got all your SATA ports, etc. Loads of ports along the bottom. Loads of ARGB. You've also got an additional PCIe Gen 3. So you've got 2 there plus the bottom one, and you got that one. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome board.
Is that full ATX or more?
This is full ATX. It's not enhanced ATX, just a normal ATX. You've also got diagnostic DLEDs, which is always handy to have. On the rear I/O, got some nice USB connectivity. So you've got some 10 gigabit per second ports there, 2 of those. Then you've got, how many is that? 4 just normal USBs. And then you've got another 2 super speeds, so 1 USB-C and a Type A. And then at the bottom there, you've got another, I think that's a 20 gigabit super speed. So yeah, 2 USB-Cs, a whole load of USB Type A's. You also got your multiple output audio, which some people do prefer. It's also Wi-Fi 6E, so the same as the other board. Just feels more, I don't know, more premium. It's got a really nice weight to it as well. The VRM is better, so this is, I think, a 14 plus 2 plus 1.
Did you say how much you paid?
Yeah, 102. I think it's 102.
So how does that compare with the other one?
This is about £50 cheaper.
So
No,
it's
£30 cheaper, arguably.
better.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you've got to keep an eye out for these deals when they come along. We post them in the Discord, etc., so you can get some really good deals. This one is also Gen 5 on the top slot, even though it is B650. So you've got the Gen 5 top slot, a bigger heatsink as well. So yeah, I think this is the better board of the two. I did order this on, I think it was the same day I ordered the other one. I ordered them both at the same time, thinking I'm not too sure which one I actually prefer. But now I've actually got this and seen it. Yeah, I think this is very cool indeed. It's a nice looking board, nice weight to it, decent quality, loads of ports, everything you could want on it. And also you can potentially charge your eventual customer the ASUS tax for ASUS motherboard. But I do like the PCI Express, the quick release. I do like that. That's pretty cool.
It's like we bought our old house just because it had this corner cupboard that had a thing that span round to get all your tins.
Oh yes, the spinning around, yeah. No RAM LEDs on this one as far as I can tell, although there are some LEDs there. So I don't know.
Have you seen the new YTX boards?
I have, yeah. YTX looks interesting. It's basically ITX but widened.
It's like a brick from the 80s.
Yeah, YTS. Yeah, all the bits are in there. You got all the ROG nonsense. Even got a key ring in that one. And a bunch of cable ties, all sorts.
For audio I/O, is there a pack for plug-in headphones?
Sorry, is there... With 5-port audio, is there a preference for plug-in headphone cables in for better sound? Not really. Technically, all of the ports, like in modern software, you can configure so any port can do anything. I would probably stick to the pink port, which is the kind of the dedicated one.
Pink port.
In most instances, the worst ports to plug it in is the front panel on your case. Because most case front panels audio is trash, or the actual interconnects aren't very good, and also there's a lot of interference as well. With the rear connects, obviously the chipset is down the bottom there. It's got a very small pathway to go, whereas the front panel, because it's a physical cable, as it goes through the PC, it goes past other parts of the system, power supply possibly, picking up RF interference as it goes. So there isn't really a port on the back which is better or worse, but certainly there are ones which I would use the back ones rather than the front, certainly. Oh, and it comes with a nice little magnetic antenna. Unfortunately, those are the screw-on connectors because, well, it was an early board at that time. Oh, that don't want to go back in there now, does it? You swine. Come on. No, that's never going back in there. So we'll put it there. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. I am a bit of a grey ham. I am a little bit of a I wouldn't say I'm a motherboard snob because I'm not, but I do like two brands. I like MSI and I like Asus. I'm not a massive fan of Gigabyte boards, and I'm not a massive fan these days of ASRock boards either. So I personally probably, well, unless it was a spectacular deal, and even then it would have to be spectacular, I don't envisage a world where I would be buying an ASRock motherboard these days. Especially not for myself. In a flip PC, maybe, but because of the problems they've been having with various processors, I just give them a wide berth. I'm not saying don't buy an ASRock board. If you've got one, it's fine and you're happy with it, that's great. You carry on. But for me, buying a board nowadays, my primary choice is generally going to be MSI. Secondary choice would be Asus. Third would be Gigabyte. Then runners up would be kind of BioStar, ASRock, and the kind of the Chinese brands. I'd put those all in the same sort of basket. Now, there's probably going to be a load of people who've got ASRock boards in the chat who are going to be really pissed at me. And it's only because of the recent problems we've been having. The previous boards, like the B450s and all that kind of stuff, yeah, they were great. Like the Steel Legends, legendary boards. A lot of them are still going strong today, but they've been having so many problems recently with the B850s and 650s. It seems to be. I don't know. It's a cause for concern, I think, especially if you're putting a lot of money into a processor, especially an X3D, which we've seen more problems with, or at least that seems to be the more common ones.
No Elite Group, Mike?
No Elite Group. I haven't seen an Elite Group board on sale for a long time. No, that's going back a bit. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So yeah, I was really happy with that. For £100, that is a lot of board. And yeah, being that it's Asus as well. Also, I know this is a bit of a sad thing, but it's got RGB in the little heatsink, which that hasn't got.
You keep putting H's.
I know. It's only got a chewing gum in. I keep on slurring my words. I should just spit it out, but it's gone really sticky, and if I spit it out, I'm going to get it stuck all over my shit. And this is all going to go wrong. So I'm not going to do it. Anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
Awesome board. And also, this must be quite new, because it says on there, AMD 9000 series ready. So I think this is actually quite a modern board. And I've not heard of it before, the B650-A Strix. Anyway, I'm happy with that. I like that board. If it wasn't for the fact that I like to have an MSI board on, like at the moment I've got an Asus board in my editing PC and I've got an MSI board in there. So I can flip between the two. So if there's any changes in things like the fan control methods, the armory crate stuff, any of that. I've got both at hand so I can use them. And in the front room, I've got a, what is that? That's an ASRock board on an older Intel platform. And I've also got a Gigabyte board up there as well. So I've got them all to hand. So I don't normally have two PCs on the same manufacturer because it just means I've got to build a system if I need to do anything. Anyway, I'm probably boring you with that, so I'm going to get rid of this.
Griff says, with these warehouse builds, do you stress test the stuff before the 30-day return period is up?
Yeah, I try to. I did on the last one I did. I made a bit of a mistake and I didn't do that. But weirdly, that I've not heard back from them at all. So whatever that was, it seems to have fixed itself. Generally, yes, I do. Last night, the PC that I built in last week's stream, that actually got sold yesterday. Funny enough, it was actually to someone I met through the shop I work in on a Sunday. Yeah, he saw the listing and it was gone within 24 hours of being put up on Facebook, sorry. So that works out really well. And I did leave it on the display in the other room in front of the log burner. So generated a load of heat in that room. I was sweating my balls off in there yesterday. It was really, really hot.
He couldn't wait to get out.
He had shorts on and he couldn't wait to get out. Poor Alex. And yeah, I left it running. I left it in there while we were chatting. I had Cinebench running loops. I also had Unigine Heaven running loops. I had a YouTube video playing. And what else did I have? There was something else going on as well. So I had all this stuff going just to try and like stress it out and build up enough heat. And the fans were great. That case, the Antec Flux with those 140mm fans moves so much air is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that turned out really well. Viali says, you don't bore me at all, Mike. Bless you, Viali. That's very kind of you. You'll be on the Christmas card list. Dave says, MSI Facebook group loves the posts Mike makes. No problem. Enjoy it. Dave Venator says, came in to buy a car battery, buys PC. Sounds like Aldi. Yeah, not far off, is it? Okay, right. Next up, we'll have a look at some graphics cards. Oh, if I can move. I'm getting old now. I actually ran yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I sold the PC to young Alex. And he was parked like right down the end of our road. Dave, if you're watching, is Dave still Dave Aiken still in the house? If not, I don't know. Is he aching? I am. Dave, if Dave's in it, he'll know. The road I live on is quite a long road, and there's not much parking. So Alex parks right at the end of the road, and we're kind of like the middle of the road. So if you park at one end or the other, we're basically in the middle of the road, which is a real pain. And you know what the weather's been like here in the UK last 48 hours, I guess. And it was like spot into rain. So I said to Alex, oh, Dave's there, excellent, yeah. Dave, how long would you say it was in yards or meters from kind of like our house to the very end of the road? I'm guessing it's going to be about...
Down the Foresters end.
Yeah, towards the Foresters. I would say it's probably about 300 meters.
I have no idea of distance. You told me that was bloody...
I'm trying to think how many...
inches.
No, maybe about... Yeah, somewhere between 200 and 300 meters, I would guess. Yeah, I said to him, like, obviously there's the PC box, pretty heavy. There's also all the things for the AIO, the graphics card box, motherboard box, etc. So I said to him, right, you take the light boxes, because you've got the keys for the car, so you can open your boot easy. I'll carry the PC. And we're walking down towards the car, and the rain's gone from being like spotting to being like, it's getting a little bit heavier now. Literally, the moment he clicked open on his car, on the central locking, and popped the boot open, the heavens opened. It was like a scene out of, I don't know, some American film where Twister. Imagine it's like Twister, but not quite so windy. And the rain just came down so hard. And I had a t-shirt on thinking, oh, I won't bother putting a coat on. It's been boiling in the house.
Make sure you wear a white one.
Yeah, absolutely pissed down. And Alex is there like faffing around with the parcel shelf on the car so he could get the PC in. And he's like being protected by the boot of the car. And I'm like stood to the side, like, oh, absolutely getting soaked. So I thought, there you go, mate. Happy days. I'm off. And then I basically ran home because it was absolutely hammering down. And it got to the point where it's a weird thing. If you're a bold person, you notice it more. But I could actually hear the rain inside my head, where it's coming down so hard on my head.
That's probably brain fluid.
And I was like, why does that rain sound so hard on my head? It's almost like being up next to a pane of glass. It was really weird. So it was, it was quite the experience. So I'm running into the rain and into the wind at the same time because it's all like horizontal towards me, smashing the hell out of my head. I'm getting soaked, and it's like, just please get me home. And I don't run anywhere. And by the time I got home, I thought, I'm going to have a cardiac arrest, I swear. I just got in, it's like, just went into the fire and just stood in front of the fire for a little bit. It's like, dry off. Oh, mad. It's mental. There's a super chat from Captain White. Thank you very much, Captain White. £5 super chat, says, buy some fancy hot chocolate on me. Bless you. That is very kind of you.
You might wait for me to get up.
Oh, Dave.
2 cats on my lap.
Sorry.
My lap.
Dave says, he did say it's 160 metres apparently.
There you go, 300.
I know, he's retracted that, 161. It seemed like a lot more in the rain.
And the wind is against you.
But you imagine, like, I don't run, ever. Because there's no need. I'm an older person, I don't need to run, I'm not like a hunter-gatherer or nothing, but you imagine having to run 100 metres. 100 metres is enough to run. Look at athletes who do it in like 12 seconds or whatever. And they find it hard work. I took longer than 12 seconds, that's for sure. Oh dear. Irene Wolfman says, where does the forehead end when you shave your head? In the rain, it goes a long way. It does. Rick says, I don't do rain, it ruins my hair. I say that when I'm in the shop on a Sunday because we fit wiper blades and bulbs and all that kind of stuff. And just look at cars, fill up oil, etc. Wipers, washer fluid, that sort of stuff. If it's raining, I always say that. I say to the customer before we go out, is it raining out there? And they're like, oh yeah, I think so. So well, I don't know, I don't want to ruin my hair. And they love it. So. And
they used to love it down the co-op. There's a bald man, wasn't there, we used to see down there.
Yeah.
And I told him to use more hairspray because we were having crap weather. And he looked at me all amazed. But then we found out he worked in a barber's.
Yeah.
No.
Charles Ballard says, yeah, let's see an athlete build a computer. That's a very good point. There's a super chat from David Andrew. Thank you, David. 20 Aussie dollars. Bless your heart. Buy some Australian cocoa. I just sold mine. I've never seen Australian cocoa. Have you?
Is it like Vegemite?
Is it like Vegemite? Is it like a spread?
Don't it all pour out when you open the tub? Because it'd be upside down, wouldn't it?
Oh no, Dave Aiken's done it again. Bloody Discord bot. I just got an RTX 3070 gaming OC for 150 quid. Nice. Well done. And thank you once again to both Captain White and also to David Underhill. You lovely people. Speaking of Dave getting bargains on graphics cards, that is an excellent segue into my next one. So this is another one of our Discord bot bargains that Dave actually picked up, which I wanted, but he beat me to it once again. It seems to be a common thread. That I'm gonna have to ban him from that group. What do you reckon, Dave? We're gonna have to ban you from it for a while.
Come on, Oates.
I'll have a word with Erin, see if she wants me to ban you. Stop you spending money. Anyway, this is actually one of my favourite cards. This is the MSI RTX 4070 Gaming Z Trio OC.
Please ban me. Easy, can't see.
Come on, Mabes.
Oh.
I think I got the name right. Let's have a look. It normally is posted here on the back. Yes. Oh no, sorry, tell a lie. I think that might be the Gaming X Trio, not the Gaming Z Trio. I will have to get the magnifying receptacle and turn on the other light. Oh, maybe lights. Let's get rid of that off of there. So cat's arse.
That was our oldest cat's arse.
Gaming X Trio 12 gig. So yeah, GeForce RTX 4070 Gaming X Trio 12 gig. an absolutely gorgeous card. I do like these a lot. They're really nice. From what Dave was telling me, and I've got no reason to not believe him, that apparently this is probably the best of the 4070s in terms of performance, noise levels, temperatures, all that kind of stuff. So as long as this one actually works, which it should do, this turned out to be a fantastic bargain. So let me know in the chat, in UK pounds, how much do you think this graphics card cost? So it's an RTX 4070
Didn't you put the prices?
Gaming X Trio. I've put the prices in the description, so I've really, really messed that up.
And forgot you did it.
And forgot I did it. But no one reads the descriptions anyway, so how much do you think this was? This was
No, they're all going to the video description.
yeah, this was a really good deal. It's got some really nice
Which
RGB
one was
lighting on it. 12 quid, says David Underhill. You're a little bit off. 175 pounds. Yeah, I know, I did put the price up, yeah. User 250, I've got 329.96, says Joe. 650, says Jay Rich. I reckon, Jay, do you want to buy it? I'll split the profit, Steve. 150 quid. 150. What is wrong with you? Right, normally, if you were to buy one of these on eBay, which is cheaper, or CEX, eBay is obviously the cheaper option. These normally go for about 400 quid. Thereabouts. Sometimes like 380, sometimes 450, depending on who it is, what it is, and how it's boxed, etc. Condition. But normally this is
Bring it or give it back.
this is about normally about a 400 quid card. Like you can see these go for sale for 400 quid all day long. If you can get them down to as low as 350, that's a cracking deal. Dave actually paid, I believe, £300 plus the £10 handling fee on eBay. So 310 quid ish.
312.68.
There we go.
Joe cheated and looked it up.
All right, well done. So yeah, less than 315 quid for an RTX 4070, especially like a really, really nice model like this. I was gutted, really, really gutted. And if, as like a contrast, almost the same model in my PC there, that's the RTX 4070 Super, the Gaming X Slim, which is, for all intents and purposes, the same card. I paid 500 for that, I think, thereabouts. So, almost a year or so later, 300 quid. That's a cracking price. I paid roughly £300 for things like the 6800 XT and things like that. So, as a comparison, like this blows the 6800 XT out of the water completely in more ways than one. It's just a lovely looking card. Yeah, it's a really nice card. I like this one a lot. Let's have a look on the overhead so you can have a closer look at it. But yeah, this is an absolute work of art. There you go. Oh, that telltale sign means that we must have a super chat. And who's that from? Mark Gaines. Thank you so much, Mark Gaines. £20 super chat there. Thank you very much. There's a little something for the channel. That's quite a big something, so thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Mark. Much appreciated. The Gentleman Bad Boy says, you can have my 4070 Zotac for 400 quid. To be honest with you, that's what they go for. That is the sort of price they go for. So yeah, that is a great card. It even comes with the adapter. And it's like a 2.5 slot card. Nice big flow through section for the GPU. Now Dave hasn't tested this yet. He's only just got it. It's not been fired up, so we are under the assumption that it works. But at the moment, I don't have a test bench I can plug it into to validate that.
YXC says, what GPU is that?
This is a RTX 4070 Gaming X Trio. Dave says it would have been £300 if I'd have bought it through eBay Ireland, but if it turns out to be a duff, you won't be able to send it back so easily.
And Viali says that's 290 too much.
Nice one, Viali. I think that's great. How does it smell? Somewhat neutral, a little bit of plastic. Can't really smell it. Almost smells like nearly new trainers. It's got a slight plasticky smell to it. Looks like the stickers. Yeah, they've left the sticker on the fans. I haven't got a test bench set up at the moment. Do not lick. No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, the test bench, because last week we disassembled the test bench, I haven't got around to reassembling it at the moment. I do need to work out a test bench. And in fact, actually, this is something where you people out there, you lovely people, you can actually help me out, because I want to set up a test bench, but with an ITX system. So that way it's a little bit more compact. So I am looking for an ITX case. Ideally, the perfect case would be the TR100 from Thermaltake, but they won't send me one. They have sent me one, but they didn't send it back after, so upset.
You have to send it back after.
I had to send it back. They said they wanted it and they were going to send it back to us after, but that never happened. So it is what it is. We don't mind too much, although I am gutted. But something like along those lines, I did see there's a new one from John's Bow. It was reviewed on, who's that guy, Matt something or other, that does like those really cool videos with like really funky stuff. Oh, Captain Mike says, Mike, I have an N-Case M1 V6 for sale, 12 litre ITX. Can that take a graphics card as well? I'll have a look. Captain White, I will endeavour to look into that, because I think I saw the N-Case M1 somewhere yesterday when I was having a look through. I might take you up on that. Let me have a look. N-Case. I'm going to have a look and see what it looks like now. Sorry about this, viewers. What is it? N-Case. Where do I see it? M1 V6. I think that is one that I looked at yesterday. Possibly. Shopping, where are we? Yeah, I get it. I think. Or do I?
Yes, it has 3 slots, but length is limited.
Okay. Story of my life. I might tell you, it's a little bit more than what I wanted to spend, to be honest with you, looking at that. I was looking at, actually I'll show you on the screen. I was looking at the Deepcool CH260, which, actually I'll show you on the screen, can't I? Stream desktop. So that's the one I was looking at, something along those lines. I think that would be ideal for a test bench, because it's quite compact. Like, yeah, it's not going to have the best cooling in the world, but for what I need it for, I think that would be more than adequate. So that's the sort of thing I'm looking for. What did Dave say? How about a Corsair 2000D? Yeah, 2000D, that might also fit the bill. It's more about price, really, and flex, and how easy it is to actually access stuff. 2000D. Yeah, I think that probably would be a reasonable shout. I'm sure there's going to be some downsides to it, but that's the sort of price I'm looking at, roughly. Ideally cheaper, but...
Captain Mike says, I'm only after £100 for it with a Corsair SF 600 PSU included.
Okay, I will... Captain White, I will have a look into that a bit closer.
It's all pop fit panels to all sides, really easy to work in.
Okay. Well, there's some options there, but that's the sort of thing I want. I want something which is like relatively small, but can hold a bigger card if it needs to. Ideally to take an ATX or SFX power supply, because I do use both. I actually got 2 SFX power supplies up on the shelf, which I've barely used. I use them for like BIOS updates and stuff like that, which is a bit of a waste. So I thought it'd be great to have a nice little SFX type system where I can put in larger cards if I want to and test them. And like obviously for instances like this, it would be perfect. And being that I'm finding more and more of these bargains on our eBay Discord bot, it's getting to the point where it actually just makes some sense. And also for doing benchmarks for videos. rather than tying up that PC or my PC, which I wouldn't do because I try not to touch that at all, but swapping out graphics cards in that PC all the time to do the captures and stuff, it's just a bit of a faff. So I think I might do that. An open bench, I've got an open bench, but the trouble is with the open bench is it is open, and we've got lots of cats, so it's fine for certain instances and for showing things on video, but for more longer term, for actually having a build on it, it means it's open to the elements. Of course, we've got cats, it's bad weather, wet, raining, dropping stuff on it because I haven't got somewhere where I can like tuck it away out of sight at the moment. So yeah, it might be an easier way of doing it. So a case which is relatively portable. Again, the CH260 was the one that I looked at and thought, yeah, that actually fits the bill. I have been doing some work with Deepcool recently, so I'm tempted to reach out to them and say, like, if you've got a review unit you could send over to see if I can make a video on it. That might be the way forward. But if there's other options, or if you can think of anything, drop me an email, mike@mikesunboxing.com, or just let me know on Discord if you see anything. That would be much appreciated. And Captain White, I will give that some serious consideration, because the power supply as well, that makes it quite a nice deal. Because I don't really want, I've got two SFX power supplies and they're both 1000 watts, which is completely ridiculous and overkill. I don't think I'm ever going to use them, and it would feel weird putting anything else in there. So yeah, 600 would be perfect. Anyway, so that was Dave's deal, which I am a bit gutted about, and you're going to find out now why I was gutted, because a day or two before, I've also bought an RTX 4070. This one was dearer at £329. I'm not going to let you guess because it's in the description, and you'll see why mine come in a box, to be fair, so there is that. But yeah, talk about fan envy. The only thing I would say which actually has got it going for it is the fact that this does have the normal PCIe 8-pin connector rather than the 12 volt high power, which that has got. With if you want to live that dongle life, it isn't the end of the world, but yeah, it's quite nice to have a normal PCIe connection. This has apparently never been touched, still got the seal on it, so it's fine. I've actually tested it, benchmarked it. The scores are actually really good, and actually very comparable to what I've got in my system over there already, which is the Super with 3 fans. So yeah, it does get hotter. Gets us around about 80 degrees C on the hotspot, which is about right. 70 degrees roughly as the average temp. It's only the twin fan model, so obviously it's not going to do so much, but this does give you the flexibility of putting it in a smaller enclosure, such as, again, a mini ITX build. Strangely, the smaller 4070s are actually slightly more in demand for that exact reason, because obviously if you are building a small form factor PC or you just don't have the room, these do make a tremendous amount of sense. So yeah, you can see why I was a little bit gutted. I thought to myself, £330, that's an absolute bargain. Again, these go for normally about 360 to 400, depending on when and where you're looking. Again, obviously you do occasionally get one which drops down lower, thanks to our eBay bot once again. So yeah, I am gutted. I might accidentally swap them over. Do you think Dave would notice? There you go, Dave.
As long as you don't put that magnifying glass in with it.
I'm sure he'd never know. I'm guessing it's got exactly the same ports, because essentially it's the same PCB and everything, isn't it? Because the PCB ends in like the same place on both. Yeah, it's exactly the same PCB, just with a different shroud. I'll change the PCBs over. I won't, I'm joking. There's no point. They are essentially, well, you can see there, even the back of the card is basically identical of the chip and what have you. No difference at all. But yes, it would have been nice to have the cooler 3-fan model. So yeah, those were, I feel, were really good bargains. Now the 4070, if you're trying to flip a PC, you put a 4070 in it, you've got a very, very good chance of selling the PC, because it's an NVIDIA thing. People just want to have an NVIDIA card. It inspires confidence in the purchase. AMD cards, even if they're faster, don't sell as easily. And which one is it? I think it's that. Oh no, I was saying no, it's George. He's vaping. I could smell something fragrant. And I was like, what is that? It's like, oh, it's vape. It's not not the cards. So both these cards are effectively the same. So yeah, Dave says I got that RTX 4070 Ventus X2 a few weeks back for $295. Damn it. So, like always, Dave gets the deals on our Discord bot. I'm too busy working. Dave's just there, like laser focused on it, and gets straight in there. So yeah, essentially they're both the same thing. So RTX 4070s, 12 gig models. Benchmark wise, I can't imagine there'll be a lot between them. I potentially, now that Dave has loaned me this for a little while to do an unboxing on or whatever, I might actually just do some benchmarks between the two and see what the actual real difference is and whether it's worth buying a 3-fan version. Obviously for noise levels, this is going to be so much quieter, and I would almost guarantee it's going to run cooler because it's a much bigger card, whereas this is a kind of a genuine 2-slot card, whereas this is a 2.5 slot card, and obviously considerably bigger in terms of the room that it takes up inside the case. But they do fill up a case really nicely. Nice, does fill the hole, so to speak. Ira Wolfman's got 12 gig. I think 12 gig's all right. I think 10 gig is cutting it fine. 8 gigs really isn't enough these days for anything more than 1080p medium high. That's fine. Rash says Dave is good, but Astner's gets the best deals. Yeah, he does actually. Sorry, Nick Barnes says, Mike, from my experience, the Meshilicious, be wary of the riser cables because you buy Gen 5 GPU to test, riser can still kill performance. Good point. Good point. Dutch Jan, question, the 3-fan card clock higher? I think it probably will do. The thing is, when they put the base and OC clocks on the websites for the cards, they're kind of almost irrelevant because, as with pretty much all graphics cards of recent times, they will boost to whatever the algorithm lets them go to. So if the thermals and the power envelope and the wattage and all that kind of stuff is in the sweet spot, it will just boost to whatever it possibly can. And I have seen instances where in the right configuration, you can have a lesser tier card actually boost higher than a better tier card. It can happen. Some of it's down to the silicon lottery of what they will boost to, but generally they all boost higher than what their stated clocks are anyway. They're, what do they call it, the game mode clock, but normally they boost higher than that anyway. It depends on games as well. Some games will have an engine which allows the CPU to boost higher due to the configuration or the way the engine works. Some games, you see the clocks come right down. You don't necessarily get a degrade in the performance, it's just the way the engines tax the card. Skystalker says, that is pretty neat. I didn't realise they just reused the PCB and just changed coolers for those cards. There may be some slight differences to the actual VBIOS, like letting it boost higher, but that in most instances is more of a artificial limit. You can, if you want to, you can take the BIOS from this card and flash it onto this card, and it will basically try and perform the same. Now, it's probably going to get hotter, obviously, because it's a smaller card. But yeah, it's quite common. It's almost like the old days of like when you take a 6800 and flash a 6800 XT BIOS on it. It's essentially the same thing. There is like a reference design for these cards, and almost, well, actually, I wonder how much of it I can actually see. The heatsink does cover up a lot of it. I'm just working out if the layout is the same anyway. No, there is actually a slightly different layout. So some of the chokes are actually in different places by the look of it. That might be down to, well, there's a couple of ports there as well. Yeah, it'd be interesting actually to take it apart and see what bits are the same and which aren't. But it looks like the die itself is in the same place. It looks like some of the components are moved around now. So the PCB length itself and the dimensions of the PCB are the same, but they just move some of the components around. So it's not quite as similar as I thought it would be, but I would imagine there aren't that many differences. It's probably got maybe an extra, well, it's probably got extra circuitry for the extra fan anyway, I would have thought, extra resistors, etc. And due to the fact this uses the 12 by 6, the 6 by 2 12 volt connector, rather than using the 8 pin, obviously it's going to have a much simpler design in terms of the power. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, they're kind of the same card. Anyway, there you go. That was my other sort of bargain up until Dave turned up with that one. Wayne Taylor says the PCBs are all different. Okay. The same physical size, just different layout then. I will take them both apart actually and show them, but I don't want to take them apart until I know that one's definitely working. This one I know works 100% because I have tested it. And actually I don't know if Dave would want me taking that apart because it's still got the seal on there. So, and I don't know if I would trust myself because I don't want to damage something. Oh, and speaking of taking things apart, for those of you that were with us on the stream last week or the week before, when we looked at the 9600X processor, the D-lid one I got, that one has, well, that's actually now in this PC. I think it was, no, last week or might have been the week before. But that CPU is actually in the stream PC now. And it's very weird. I put it in that PC with the AM5 retention bracket, the Thermalright one, and I don't know, but I think it wasn't putting enough pressure on the IHS, so it was getting some weird temperature spikes. So since then I've taken the mounting frame off, put the standard AM5 retention bracket on there, which seems to clamp a bit harder. I didn't repaste anything, I literally just swapped it out, and it kind of seems to be behaving itself. And in actual fact, I have got, let's move that over onto the other screen. And right, yeah, you can see what has been going on. So if I go back to Stream Desktop, so you can see I've been leaving this running just to see how it's coping. Now you can see the temperatures there. Hopefully you can on the screen. It should be big enough. So it's idling at the moment at about 43 degrees for the cores, around about 50 degrees for the package, which isn't too bad considering the wattage we're using, because we're currently using around about half of the power envelope, around about 40 watts. Yeah, it's fluctuating a little bit there, but it's using about 40 watts. So that isn't dreadful. And obviously the lowest temperature recorded there is 46 on the package and 36 on the cores, and a maximum there is about 78, so that was when it was doing some updates or something a little bit earlier. That, I think, if I remember rightly, I've just set that to the defaults with PBO on, so that will be running a little bit warm anyway. And also obviously it's running OBS and other background tasks at the moment, so there is a little bit of an overhead for that. Yeah, it's kind of as is. I think Steam's running as well and some other things. So it's not quite as cool as I would like it to be, which I could tweak to get it down lower, but I don't think it's quite right. So what I have done is I've ordered some PTM 7950 from AliExpress. I found a seller which was selling 80 by 80 sheets for £8 something each, I think it was. So I bought 2 of them to get the free shipping, and it was like about 15 to 16 pounds for 2 80 by 80 sheets. And normally when you buy it, it comes in like little 40 by 40s, which are basically like CPU sized. So I thought, well, if I get the bigger ones, I've got excess, and I only really need to do the actual CPU die and the chiplet actually on that CPU anyway. And I'm going to see if the PTM makes a difference, because I'm not entirely convinced that my thermal paste application was quite up to par, and it has been moving around, so I figured I would do it again anyway. just to see what the deal is.
What is it,
Dave,
baby?
shut up.
He's so excited to see me.
Let's put that back over there.
Dream about me.
Minimise that.
They're getting all tangled
So,
in the wires, baby.
Yeah, no, I don't undervolt. I don't think I have anyway. That's running stock. And the thing is, I generally tend to run them stock anyway, just so that I can see any differences. And if there's obviously any problems, then it's easier for me to realise it.
Do you want a drink?
Yes, I think I don't. No, thank you.
Go sort out Grumpy Dave. Kill.
Hello there, Michael. How you doing? And I would tell you how warm it is in the room at the moment, but I can't because I've run out of battery. Where's that gone now? Excuse me a minute. Oh God. Trying to find anything down here is like incredibly difficult. Right. Oh, come with a load of cat fur. Cat, have you got a CR2032 battery there?
No, it's just to make my trousers hang.
Ba-boom. Very good. Dave, shut up. Oh my God, give your ass a chance.
I was going to break this off for you, but it's only the cardboard that breaks off.
I was going to chuck this away, but which way round does it go?
That's brand new one.
Right, not that way then, clearly. Yeah, that's the way. Right. Can I stick the battery in there? No. I regret sticking this on here now.
Oh, were you proud of me coming at that?
Yeah, that's quite good. Oh, that's never going to work, is it? That was a bad idea. What the hell? Oh, for God's sake. Alright, let's just take it off of there. Nick Barnes says, how will you know the thickness you need under there, under the CPU lid, or have I got it wrong? Well, the PTM thermal transfer, whatever, is 0.2 mil. And, well, that's working. Oh, sort of working. I think I need to get a new one. It's 26 degrees in here at the moment, so it's actually not too bad at all. And if you think the CPU is running at what, like 40 something degrees cores, it's a little bit higher than I would have liked. Yeah, that's fine. What was the question? Yes, the thickness. I think because it's 0.2 mil, it should be fine. And I think that's also going to be slightly helpful because that extra little bit of height possibly, it might be like 0.00 whatever of a mil more, but that's going to give it a little bit of extra push against the heat shield or the IHS, and hopefully then it's going to give it a bit more compression to kind of lock down. Now, from what I can gather with the phase change material is when it heats up, it will actually go more liquid, so then it will bond properly. And then if there's any kind of issues with it not being flat enough, it should kind of flatten itself out, I guess. I'm not too sure how it works, but I think that's the theory. Skystalker says, that's pretty cozy, Mike. You always keep it that warm? Not normally. It's been weirdly, even though it's super windy at the moment, it's like quite mild. I think last night going to bed, it was like 14 degrees. So it's, yeah, it's weird. It almost feels like we're going to have a thunderstorm. It's like 50, oh, it's dropping a little bit. I suppose it's a bit warmer because I was holding it in my hand. So it'll probably drop down to about 25, I guess. Normally in this room is somewhere between about, well, with the lights on and the computers running, somewhere in the region of about 23 to 24. It's 20, almost 26 at the moment, so it seems a bit hotter. It doesn't feel like 26 because I've got my hoodie on as well. And I just feel okay. Do you feel cold or are you okay?
Right, because I've just been on that cold towel
yeah, it feels right. I've got to be honest with you. Right, anyway, so that's the graphics cards done. Let's put that somewhere safe. So Dave doesn't have to buy another one. I've actually got a case to look at as well, which we'll have a very quick look at. I will do a full video on it, but also got some fans as well, some Be Quiet fans. Shh. These are the Pure Wing 3 140s, and you can probably guess what case it is that is going to be going with this. So Dave's actually bought the Be Quiet Pure 501 base, I think it is. We'll have a look shortly. It's in the video description, I think, anyway.
How is the new wood saw like?
Oh man, the new chainsaw is an absolute dream. Yeah, I'm not going to stand up because you don't want to see an old man boner. But yeah, it's great. It is really great.
I don't drink Diet Coke, but I would be having a Diet Coke break if I...
Arguably, one of the best tools I've ever bought. It's excellent. It is like, if you're using it on the right wood, it's like a knife through butter. The difference it's made is phenomenal. Like, I chopped up so much wood, and the other day I was like, oh, I got like a bit of time to spare. What should I do? Oh, cut the grass. Then after that, it's like, oh, chainsaw out, and let's just cut up a few more bits and pieces. And I got this.
Battery, so
I got a sleeper. This old sleeper is literally like that, like by that, and like massive, like super heavy, big thing, and it's like a proper old sleeper, which has got. You can smell the creosote in it. It's just like packed with it, and it's like some proper old hardwood. And yeah, it went through that thing nice and easy, which for a battery-powered chainsaw you wouldn't expect. Now it pisses through batteries when you're doing it on something like that. You won't get many cuts at all, but it still does power through it, which is excellent. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it. And it does make you feel very confident. I don't like using strong, aggressive power tools. Things like angle grinders, chainsaws generally do scare the bejesus out of me. But this thing is like so easy and light, and like the balance on it is excellent. It's so well balanced. It's just a really, really nice thing. So yeah, happy days.
Chris O'Hanlon. Hi, I bought a new CPU and RAM. Do I have to buy Windows again?
No, you shouldn't have to. No, you should be fine.
And if you do?
No. Temperature's dropped now, so it's 24.7. I think it's because I was holding it before, and the heat in my hand. So yeah, it'll probably drop down to about 24.5, 24.
But if he does need to buy Windows.
Yeah, if you do want to buy Windows, if you do need to, it doesn't need to cost you a fortune. Well done, Kath. Well spotted. You can go to premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing, and you can pick up a new Windows key for about £3. If that, maybe less. Use the discount code Mike's Unboxing to get a discount on the already ridiculously cheap prices.
Will you sharpen the blades, Mike, or just get new ones?
I've done both.
Sharpener.
I've bought a sharpener for Kath, and I've bought 3 new chains. The chains were like pence, literally really cheap ones, so I'm not sure how well they'll last, but I bought a sharpener tool, that was about 20 quid. So yeah, we should be all good.
I'm a bit obsessed with keeping my knives sharp. So now he thinks I can do the chainsaw.
Greg says, battery-powered chainsaws can still hurt you if you're not careful. Oh, definitely, yeah. It's still a very dangerous tool. Just ask Sorin. He did not follow proper protocols and his hand suffered a cut. Yeah, definitely. I am very wary of the fact that I could get very badly injured. But yeah, I do well.
Oh, it's gone now. It must be Maisie sitting on a button on my
Maisie's sitting on the shift button, I expect. Right.
You could like delete people's messages. Weirdly.
Alessa's got to adjust her RAMs. I really wish I knew what RAM settings to change to make my system better, but I never change anything. I just set XMP or Expo and pretty much leave it as that.
But the camera, on the other hand.
Camera? That's another thing altogether. Right. Next one. This wasn't quite so much of a bargain. Well, it was, but it kind of isn't as well at the same time. So this is just for some of the cheaper flip PCs, possibly. This is a GeForce RTX 3060. No AMD cards on tonight, which is different. But this is, I didn't realise at the time, this is the StormX version. It's a 12 gig version, so the kind of the more preferred version of the 3060. But this is the StormX version, which is basically tiny. Again, going back to what I was saying about ITX PCs, I did have the kind of idea that I would put this possibly into the 3D printed PC case that we got from Patrick LaBelle many, many moons ago. Still got that in the front room. don't really use it because it hasn't got a graphics card in it, and it's using the APU, which is a bit poor on the Intel card. So I thought potentially I might put it in there, but I also at the same time regretted buying this instantly. So as you can see, this is a absolutely dinky card. Again, you do normally pay a premium for smaller cards because they're smaller cards, but also they normally run hotter and louder, and this one is no exception. It still uses a single 8-pin connector, so it does require power. It doesn't use a great deal of power, and it's not the most outrageously fast card, but it's fine. And if you've got a small PC or a small case, then yeah, again, this is very handy. It's got a single 90mm fan, I think it is, maybe 90 or 100mm. So it's only got a single fan, so again, it can get quite noisy. This one also, I feel, probably does need a repaste because it's never been touched. And it's got the sticker on there to say that it's not been opened. So again, because I've got the phase change material, I will be doing some tests to see what difference it makes, if any. Whether or not I will need to change any of the other thermal pads, I don't know. Looking inside, I don't really know if there's many at all in here. I think most of it is just contact with the actual core itself, but I will find out. And again, when the phase change material arrives, we'll do a couple of videos and see if it's actually worthwhile doing, because I've never used it. Apparently it's very good, but I've never tried it myself personally. So yeah, if I can maybe shave a few degrees off of this and make it run a little bit cooler and a little bit quieter, then potentially it could go into the machine in the front room that we use at Christmas. And that's about it. It does get some use, not a great deal. It's more of a showpiece PC because of the 3D printed nature of it. So yeah, interesting little card. Again, you can get RTX 3060 12 gigs, which have the gaming trio style cooler, like the 3-slot version. I know Dave had one of those as well, I think. Colin Hilton had one on his PC as well. And yeah, you can get gigantic versions. Those will run obviously super quiet, but they take up a lot of room. This one cost me £129, I think it was, or £130 for argument's sake. So these normally go for about £150. So it's not really a bargain as such. It's about £20 cheaper than what they normally go for. But it is a smaller card and it's more noisy, but also it's a slightly more sought after model if you're doing small form factor builds. So it's very much one of those things where if you can find the right buyer at the right time, this potentially could make some money. But I think I've probably made a mistake in buying it, if I'm completely honest. But let me know what you think. The other two cards had a baby. It does feel like that, doesn't it? So yeah, that is a very small card. It is a 2-slot card still. So it still is going to require 2 slots. So some ITX cases aren't going to fit it. But yeah, I saw it. They normally go for about 150. It was one of those things where I think I was a bit tired. It was early in the morning. It's like, oh great, that sounds like a bargain. And then I kind of realised after, oh actually it's the StormX version, which I probably wouldn't have bought. But then after I kind of tried to rationalise it in my mind to see, actually where can I use that? It might end up in Kath's PC as an upgrade for her so she can do her video editing a little bit easier. She's still using William Bodie's GTX 1066 gig. That thing's gone on well, and Welly Bob's 2600. Can you believe that? Kath does her video editing, has a million tabs open, and she's still running on an ASRock B450 Pro 4 in the GameMax F15M case.
With no lights.
With no RGB turned on.
And I've noticed that.
She has got 32 gigs of RAM.
Cases don't have those remote controls, have they, recently?
No, it's quite rare.
It doesn't turn my lighting on when you mess around with them.
Yeah, this is very true. Okay, so how are we doing time-wise? 10:15. Right, we have got enough. Do you think we've got enough time to have a look at the case? Let me know in the chat. Do you want to have a look at the case or not? The Be Quiet. I'm slightly intrigued. I was going to buy one myself, but it looks like they've gone back up in price. The actual case was $49.99, which seems to be very reasonable.
Look at the case, look at the case.
Sure, go for it, yeah. Okay, let's have a look at it.
HD.
Eh?
ADHD or a woman thing? 1,000 tabs open.
Bit of both.
It's 'cause I'm busy.
It's because
I'm busy and I'm lazy.
yeah, all of the
I
above.
don't want to keep opening them every day.
Oh, actually, I better have a look on here. Is there any labels on it to say any? Yes, it has. Bear with me. I've got to take a label off.
Should we give away some?
Yeah, do some memberships while oh, sorry, Dave. I'll just rip your box. And again, well, sometimes they put labels on which are absolutely great and they come off very easily, but this instance that actually isn't the case. Ooh, I'm wicked and I'm lazy. So there you go. Have some free memberships, you lovely people in the chat. So Chris O'Hanlon, Martin Lewis of Money Saving Expert fame.
Where is Jason Woods?
Jason Woods, he's got a gift membership. Sith Lord Billy, nice name, and Big Ounce. That's quite a funny one actually, isn't it? Big Ounce, because you can't really have a big ounce or a small ounce. An ounce is an ounce.
Well, it's a bit like
I like
a pound of fat
Yeah.
weighs more than a pound of muscle. No, they're both a pound.
Yeah. Noodles says, just been on eBay and they've dropped the price of 7th gen Intel and Xeons by half due to ending Windows 10 support. Would be ideal for an AI Linux machine. Sky says, if anyone wants your address, Mike, they just have to ask me. No, this is Dave's because it was addressed to Dave. I don't mind. I don't mind getting doxed. Well, I do, but right. I need a knife. He's got a knife. What was that from? He's got a knife. That was from that comedy program, wasn't it?
Have you got a...
Four Non-Blondes, was it? No, that was a pop group, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cool Cat says, oh darn, I wish I could find the accept gifts option on YouTube, but I've never been able to locate it, even with instructions.
Who's that?
Cool Cat. Is there any way... Do you have to do that?
I don't know. I thought it was just automatically applied to your account. Because I've got sent one for, what was the channel? David Betts, IT support.
I thought you got one for that fantasy channel. NASA.
NASA? No, I don't think so.
Did you have it for some space rocket channel?
Don't think so.
No, you did. I'm sure you did.
NASA? Oh,
Some rubbishy thing.
some rubbishy thing. That's very descriptive, Kath. Well done.
About rockets.
About rockets. Yeah, it was the, oh God, I can't think what they're called now. NSF or something, was it? I can't think.
The person who saw my place in the queue and asking you now.
Good one. Right, so this is the Be Quiet Pure Base 501. Not a DX, just a Pure Base 501. So this is a very modest tower. So you've got your nice mesh front, so lots of airflow. We actually did a review about 5 years ago of the Pure Base 500 in white, I think it was back then. Was it white or was it grey? It might have been the silvery grey one they did. But yeah, seems like a nice case. I haven't had a Be Quiet case on the channel for a very, very, very long time. So you've got a tinted glass side panel, which I guess is going to be held on by screws. I think this is just a modified version of the 500 anyway. Maybe just a different front panel. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, nice bit of tempered glass. Looks like it's 3mm maybe. Not very heavy. Which is good. It means it costs less to ship. And what have we got inside? So it comes with a Be Quiet, I think that's a Pure Wings 3 in the back. So the two that Dave's got will be matching up to the one in the front. So I'm not sure what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to put 3. I don't think you can put 3 in there. Let's have a look. Ugh. Right, front panel comes off pretty easily. And that's quite a nice structural front panel. That is also your primary filter. But it also actually has a secondary filter as well, which is very simple construction. Just little clips there, no magnets or anything, no fancy stuff, just
2 up front, 1 top and 1 rear.
Yeah, there we go.
Did you hear that?
No. What was that?
2 up front.
2 up front. Is this what he's doing?
And 1 rear. I don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
What he's replying.
Yeah, 2 up front. 2 up front, 1 up top, 1 rear. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That probably is the optimal configuration for most coolings. If you have one at the back here, have one at the back there, so that corner is being exhausted, then just have 2 in the front blowing air in. Should run very nice and cool. And of course with these, depending on where you mount the drives at the front, there's not really much point having a fan much lower down than the kind of basement section anyway.
Did it only come with that 1 fan in the front?
It comes with 2. So there's 1 in the front and there's 1 in the back. And there's a nice little, actually that's a nice touch. So there is a cable management grommet there, and it's actually got like a mesh effect to it. So air can still pass through it rather than blocking the CPU area. It's quite a nice layout. You can put a big radiator in here if you want to as well. Lots of room for that. You'd have to move that drive cage backwards. If that is indeed a cage, I guess it is. Or is it? I'm intrigued now. Anyway, we'll have a look in the inside first. So pretty much typical layout inside. You've got a reasonable amount of room at the top. Not a massive room for clearance at the top for radiators and the such. Although whether or not really you'd want to put a rad in this, I don't know. Probably goes against what it's really intending to do. It is quite heavily offset, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But you've only got about 36, 37 mil clearance. So most radiators are about 25 to 28 mil these days, plus 25 mil fans. So yeah, it's going to drop down over your VRM possibly a little bit on some. So a 240 or 320, 360 in the top. I don't know actually if you get a 360 in there. I don't think you can. I think it's a 240 in these, if I remember rightly, because a lot of the room is kind of obstructed. So yeah, 240 or 280 radiator in the top, 140 or 140, sorry, 120 or 140 mil fan at the back. Comes with the 140 installed or included, so you might as well stick with that. In the front, you can put what appears to be, let's see if that section is actually movable or not. I don't know if it is. Ah, yeah, it is, yeah. So you can move that drive sled right the way back to give you more room in the front. So I'm guessing, I honestly don't know much about this case, and it's been so long since I've looked at one. And typically, I think I've peeled off the section with all the stats on. I have. Where's the user manual? There's got to be a user manual. I'm sure I saw one. Let's have a look. Ah, what it's like to be organised. This was a very late addition to the show. I just said to Dave, actually, as he dropped it off, I said, I'm actually just setting up the stream right now. So now I've got something else I can add to it. So let's have a look. What options have we got? So in the front, yeah, 360mm rad in the front. And yeah, 3 120s. So yeah, 2 140s, 3 120s. And the top is, yeah, top position is actually not a 280 in the top. No, in the top they're saying 120 or 240. The front is a 120, 140, 240, 280 or 360. And the rear is a 120 or 140 in terms of radiators. So a little bit limited on radiators. Obviously the like 360mm AIOs at the moment are insanely good value for money. So if you did want one, you'd have to put it in the front, tubes up, which some people get a little bit agitated by. Realistically, it isn't too much of a problem as long as the tubes at the top are higher than the pump height, which it will be. You might get the occasional gurgling when you turn the PC on, but other than that, it's not too bad at all. If you're really sensitive to gurgling noises of your AIO, then obviously 240mm or choose a different case. But in terms of kind of like more cost effective, more, I want to say grown up, but that's probably not the right word for it, but more sort of understated or more stylish builds, this makes a lot of sense because obviously no RGB at all. You've got all the usual refinements, so you've got your power button, obviously reset switch, combo mic jack. You've got two USB 3.0s Type A, and you also got USB Type C, which I don't think they had USB Type C on the 500, if I recall. But it was 5 years ago, so they may have changed the design very slightly since then. So let's have a look on the top. So on the top, this removable dust filter, which is actually magnetic, unlike the front one. And also, I think I remember thinking this before, they've left it very open. So obviously you've got the mesh to filter the air leaving or going in, depending on your configuration. Realistically, it's going to be kind of allowing heat to escape from the top. And yeah, it is very open. So if you did have an AIO, there's very, very few restrictions. And even if you're just putting fans in the top, there's basically nothing restricting it. Maybe if you've got the 140s, you've got a little bit of bar there. But yeah, it's very minimal restrictions and it's really nicely made, actually. That is something which I think is a very synonymous thing with Be Quiet, that whenever they make a case, I don't think they've ever made a case which has like been flimsy or like not particularly well built. It may not have the ideal configurations, but I don't think you can say that it's not well built or well thought out in general. So you've got a pass through there, so you can pass through cables for 2.5-inch drives. You put one there, either front mounted or back mounted if you want to see them or not. This section here has a cover, so you can take that out to pass cables through or whatever you want to do. You've got the drive cage screws at the bottom, so you can take that drive cage out. The drive cage holds 2 drives, if I remember correctly. Just take that out and have a look. Yeah, that's a nice solid drive tray actually. And yeah, you've got all the rubber dampeners in there and various heights you can put drives in. So yeah, that's pretty nice. The accessories box in there as well. And this is like proper solid metal as well. So designed really more for the days when we used to have mechanical drives. We don't tend to have them so much nowadays. In fact, quick straw poll, how many of you in the stream right now actually have a mechanical hard drive in your computer, like in your main computer? Let me know, I'll be interested. Obviously, don't include things like NAS, because obviously a NAS is likely to have a mechanical drive because it's the more cost-effective way of mass or bulk storage. But in terms of your kind of everyday PC, do you have a physical hard drive in it? I would be surprised if anyone does. Maybe you'd have like a 2.5-inch SSD, a SATA-based 2.5-inch drive. I don't think there's going to be many that will have a physical hard disk, but let me know. I'll be interested to read it in the comments. Skystalker's got none, not for years. Dutch Jan's got 2. Oh, I had oh snap. So reload that. And can I refresh that? Yes. I think that's working. There we go. John David Sullivan's got 12 across my systems. Wow. Where are we? Nope, still have 3 in the cupboard. It says Viale. Adam Williams, I use mechanical hard drives for backing up my computers, Windows backups. Yeah, for those, it's a good idea.
Have I got one?
No. Matthew Day, yes, and DVD. God bless you. Have you finished your build yet? Have you started your build yet? I'm pretty sure you had started it, or at least you prepared a flash drive ready to install Windows. Have you started the build? Come on. David also says I use a 4 TB hard disk drive in second PC for backup. Yeah. If you're using it for backup purposes, that I guess does make sense. But then if you're using a PC as kind of like a backup PC or a backup destination, that puts it almost into kind of like NAS stroke server territory, because you're using it as a desktop PC, but you're also using it as a backup medium. So you're not really using it as in like a primary or secondary storage for your daytime operations. That's what I'm trying to get at, really. There's Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Scott's been in since the beginning almost.
I know. Spinning rush drives are still best for long-term storage. 100%. 100%. Matthew Day says it's spread out on the floor. The 550 watt power supply is out. Fair enough. John David Sullivan says I'm running a media server, so hence why I have so many. Got you. And if Welly Bob was in the chat, he would be there typing away, because he's got millions and millions of hard disk drives in his computers. But he is kind of collecting or hoarding media, which I think is becoming more and more of a rarity. Like you get a few people which obviously run things like Plex servers, in which case, if you're running a Plex server or some sort of media server, the title is the clue, like server, Plex media server. So you are running a server. It's not a desktop PC. Yes, it may appear to be a desktop PC, and you may use it frequently as a desktop PC, but it has a secondary use as a media server. So when I'm saying like people don't have mechanical drives, I'm more referring to kind of like your standard everyday user or your typical PC gamer who tend not to have mechanical drives as much these days. Adam Williams says, would never install Windows onto a spinning drive. Will be better to use a USB key. Dave Aiken says, I hope Matthew Day never finishes his build. He'd have nothing to think about if he did. Yeah. The analysis paralysis, isn't it? Thinking about it and thinking about it so much that you don't actually ever get anything done. We've all been there. I'm going to move that drive cage back a little bit for review purposes, if I can get it to stay there. Oh, come on. Don't want to stay there. I've got, it's got to go the next one back. There we go. Right, it's being a dick. I think that works. I'll leave it in the original place. He says, oh, why don't I want to screw in? This reminds me of my car. Kind of got a mind of its own. Ah, there we go. It's like, no, I'm not fitting bits there. You cannot fit parts where I do not want you to put parts. In terms of I/O, you've got the usual stuff. So you've got your HD audio, you've got your USB Type-C, your 2 USB-A ports, and also a block connector for the front panel, which is nice. I'm not sure if that's a relatively new thing that they've done on Be Quiet cases. I remember the one I had last, I think, had a separate pin connector. Decent amount of room there for a power supply, and also a nice bit of room for cable management. And as you can see from the factory, they've already cable managed all your wires down there with these nice Be Quiet cable management straps. Oh, I've ruined it now. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Happy days. Let's have a look on the bottom. So nice full length sled for cooling and for filtration. Other than the initial section here.
AJ Haverkamp says, I drive a Toyota, not a BMW. My car does everything I want it to. You drive more of a Corsa now, don't you? I drive Vauxhall most of the time now because it's Angel's car and I have to go and take her out and pick her up and
all that while she's having driving lessons. So yeah, I haven't driven the BMW in, I can't think actually. Have I driven it this year?
You have driven it quite a few times this year, but it was at the beginning of the year. I don't think you've driven it in the last 6-7 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've driven that car. I miss it actually. I quite like that car.
You drove it like when we took the cat to be spayed and stuff. And in that era, you drove it a lot.
On the back, we've got the really nice quality PCI Express blanking plates, and also the
I say a lot.
almost over tightened thumb screws for the brackets there. So yeah, that's all nice, and those are all actually very solid as well. No, that's the one thing I don't like about Liana Lee cases, and obviously some other cases, well, in Winner one that are problematic with it, where the brackets don't slot in like snugly, and they're a little bit on the loose side, whereas these are all very nicely. It's like you can't really play tunes on them or anything. So yeah, it's really well built, which is very nice to see. I am still kind of tempted if I can find one at the same price, which I don't think they're still on offer at the moment. They were $49.99 for this one, and the white version was £5 more expensive. I think personally I would have probably gone with the black version anyway. It just feels really nice and sturdy and robust. It's actually quite refreshing, because recently I've had quite a few cases which have been a little bit on the, well, the slightly more flexible side.
Yeah. 60 says, all new, be quiet now, have block connector.
Ah, cool. Thanks, Des. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, you got the usual creature comforts. So the middle pole for your motherboards is a locating pole. So your motherboard fits on there, so that way you know that it's all in the right places. I would say, arguably, the only thing which, for me, goes slightly against this case, which would prevent me possibly buying one for daily use for myself, would be the slightly cramped top for water cooling purposes. If you're going with air cooling, this is basically perfect. It's got a really nice layout. Yes, it's hard to argue with anything. Also got really nice big pass-throughs at the bottom for passing through your cables, which those are always a pain in the backside, and they never have the holes in the right places. Would have been nice to have seen some rubber grommets on them. Just if you're not using them or you're using a smaller board, it would have been nice to see some rubber grommets over those. But it's all nice and open for getting cables in and out, and you've got this whole section here which can come out as far as I know. I think actually, if I remember rightly, this bit can slide across. I don't recall how it does it. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a block at the top, or a connector at the top, so you can undo that, and yeah, that whole section comes out. Which so you can put your drives in for drive sleds. Put your drives in there if you wanted to. Yeah, there's that mesh section, which is a little bit interesting. So just to prevent airflow being stopped there. I don't know why they just didn't do that bit just flat all the way up. But anyway. Of course, if you want to, just leave it out altogether and just have the back of your case showing through there, or I don't know. Do they sell any optional bits for like mounting other drives in here? I'm not too sure. Yeah, but it's quite nice. Quite nice. How do I get that back on there is the question. Right, that clips into there and then kind of folds around, and that cable's in the way. Oh. Yeah, there's a couple of cables here from that fan at the front. I shouldn't have taken this out. There we go. That's pretty good. I do like the extra filters on the front. Nylon mesh is so good for filtration, it really is. Although it would have been nice to, if you've got the nylon mesh there, it would have been nice to have this front a little bit more open. Yeah, it's quite restrictive, that front, because it is a little bit too tight, I think, personally. But saying that, it is going to keep things nice and quiet, which is essentially what the whole brand is about. I do like the rounded off edges as well. Gives it a nice kind of feel and a nice look. And like, this is the sort of case that you could easily put into an office as like a desktop PC, a workstation, whatever you wanted to do. And it just wouldn't look out of place. It would just look like pretty cool. Which I'm actually not sure what the intended use case is of this particular case. I never actually asked Dave, what is this for? Is this one that's going to work, or is this one that's going for like a flip build or something? There's a super chat from Rasher. Thank you very much for your 20 euros. It says, cheers my gaff for saving me a fortune on Saturday nights, not going out and boring strippers with my new PC build spares. Oh dear, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's a... See, strippers don't get it, do they? Like, one day, if you find the stripper who actually appreciates the complexities of the RAID configurations or knows her way around a motherboard, then obviously she's a keeper. But how many strippers are you going to have to visit until you find one of those? It's going to cost you an absolute fortune. It's much easier just to spend your Saturday nights with us. We're the bank that cares. Valley says, Mike's good at taking things apart, putting back together. Not so much. Yeah, maybe not.
Thanks for that.
Cheers, pal. Yeah, with the sides and the front, I think this looks pretty pucker. What did they say? Probably a flip. May or may not keep the extra fans. Got it. Skystalker says, lol, the strippers don't care. You're going to pay either way. Yeah, that's true. Fred says, thanks Mike for the help with the mounting clamps. My motherboard is complete now. No worries. Oh, that was the, yeah. I remember that now. That was the, actually, do I remember? Mounting clamps. What was that for? Was that for the, oh God. That was in last week's stream, wasn't it? Or was it the week before? Was it CPU mounting clamps? Oh God, I can't remember myself now. We wanted to know what name of the clamps they were. We couldn't work out which ones you were after, and you sent me some pictures. I can't remember what it was now. Heat. Heat. What was that? Heat clamps. God, I can't remember now. Oh dear. That's the trouble. When you get to a certain point, you start to forget all this kind of stuff. What was it? What sort of clamps was it? I can't remember now. Heat clips. Heat clamps. It'll come to me. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll go, oh, Kath, that's the ones he was after, wasn't it? And you'll be like, shut up. Go back to sleep, you idiot. She wouldn't. Ugh.
Find it funny.
What's that?
When you talk in your sleep.
What do I say? Do I say anything at all?
You say bye to children in the middle of the night.
I do, yeah.
Shout it out. Bye.
I'm often quite perturbed by. I quite often I don't want to think of the kids as not me not caring or I don't know whatever. And when they say goodbye or whatever, if I'm asleep, I must be slightly listening out for it. So if they say goodbye, I like get ready to say oh bye, and yeah, quite often I've woken up like mid dream and just shouted out bye to the kids, and they're like it's middle of the night.
Because I ripped the piss out of you about it. One night I actually did it.
Yeah, Kath does it as well sometimes. Right, okay, so thank you Dave for letting us use that case. That is very cool. So other things to discuss. Well, we've still got some time left, so there's a couple of things we can discuss. We could discuss the decline of the Xbox and Xbox Live service. We could also discuss the fact that EA has now been bought by Saudi Arabian company. Those two things are massive topics in themselves. I honestly don't know what my thoughts are. The more I think about it, the more I get confused on both of them. So if you've got any thoughts on either of those topics, then please do let me know. Also, obviously Windows 25H2 has pretty much arrived with a whimper almost. Not particularly exciting, so I don't know where we kind of go forward with that. It would have been nice to have seen Windows 25H2 to have some feature updates, some new look, a new feel, but essentially it's just the same old, just with a longer lifespan now, because it essentially just resets the support clock for another 2 years. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange one. Ian McLeod says, I've never worked on a Be Quiet tower. Are they good, simple to build in? Yeah, they are. Yeah, very easy to work with, very nice to work with. Slightly more restrictive on some of them, depending on what you want to do in terms of like radiator space and things like that. But for a general purpose build, air cooled, yeah, absolute breeze. Des says, I have cancelled my PC Game Pass. Yeah, of course, that's the other side of it, isn't it? The Xbox have just increased the price, the monthly price, quite considerably from what I gather. I haven't had an Xbox subscription to Xbox Live or Xbox Gaming or whatever it is for probably a good 2, maybe 3 years now. And I think when I did have it, I was paying either $7.99 or $8.99 a month.
You don't even have an Xbox for like much longer than that.
No, but you have Xbox games, don't you? You get Game Pass to get games. And I think back then I only had it for benchmarking games, which I kind of got away from a little bit. So yeah, I haven't experienced that. But someone said it's gone up to something like nearly 20 quid a month or something ridiculous. And so I was pissed off when it was at like £9 a month. So I think I originally started it was like $3.99 or $4.99, which I thought $4.99, that's fine. It's a game that I'm not going to own, but whatever. That's kind of the price you pay for a monthly fee. That seemed reasonable. What always bugs me with those types of services, any of those subscription services, is the fact that when you stop subscribing, you lose access to the games entirely. So even though you've pumped an absolute shitload of cash into whatever it is, your monthly subscription, if a couple of years down the line you want to play that game, you can't. Because you'd have to either buy it or take out your subscription again. And that was very evident, I think, when we started moving away from physical media for games like DVDs and CDs or floppy drives back in the day. They were great because you bought the game. As long as you had the physical media, you could essentially play the game whenever you felt like it. So if you were bored of it, uninstalled it, not a problem. You got your game discs up in the loft or on your shelf, on display, whatever. And I think a lot of us did that, didn't we? We had our games on display because you used to have that nice box art and all the instruction manuals and stuff. If you were buying games like Black and White or SimCity or whatever it was, Roller Coaster Tycoon, every now and then you get back into the game, you'd forget a few of the things, so you get your manual out. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, great. That's how I make things, or that's how I construct things, or that's how I change such and such. It was great. Whereas now in this digital media world, it's all very sterile. Like you can play it when you're paying for it. If you're not paying for it, or you're not a subscriber, or your account gets compromised, or whatever it is, maybe you get a ban on one of the platforms, you lose your library. Whereas with physical media, obviously, that isn't such a thing, which is, I think it's quite sad, and it is very much of the times. Like, I do miss genuinely CD optical media and DVD media. I think that was like the optimum thing. That was like the high point. I know the game loading speeds now would be absolutely horrendous. And even if we had all Blu-ray drives in our systems, it would probably still be awful. Although saying that, it's worked for consoles for a very, very long time, up until like very recently. And even so, a lot of consoles now still do come with a physical media slot or drive. So it's not like it's impossible, but obviously those systems are somewhat hardware optimized to run games from that media. Or at least install it from it anyway. So yeah, it's a sad time, and also like I've heard people saying about Microsoft, they've got enough money, so if they wanted to, they could let Game Pass be like basically next to nothing, and they could effectively obliterate Nintendo and PlayStation very easily just by dropping the prices to basically nothing. And because Microsoft now kind of have bought up most of the game developers, even some of the small indies and stuff, they basically hold all the keys. So they could quite easily turn around and say, well, no, you're not making games for this platform or that platform. You're only going to do games for Game Pass or whatever. So they kind of do hold all the keys. They could quite easily destroy the competition. But for some reason, they don't want to destroy the competition, but they don't really want to be good either. And it's really odd that they pump all of this money into Xbox, Xbox Live, Xbox Gaming, Xbox Game Pass, all those things, but they seem to do a really bad job of it. Like me personally, I don't see the point of owning a console at all, and I haven't done since probably, arguably the Xbox 360 or maybe the Xbox One, possibly as far back as the original Xbox. I think that was the last truly great console. In my personal opinion, I was never much of a PlayStation fan or a Nintendo fan for that matter, so Xbox was kind of, for me, the closest thing to PC gaming, one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know. Aletta says an interesting thing there, which kind of does make sense as well, but it's also like a bit of a meme, and that is, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. And it kind of, yeah, there's a lot of truth in that statement. It's obviously, it's not a black and white thing like it kind of comes across, but
if you've paid for something,
it makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, you could almost argue that if you would go to the cinema and pay to watch a movie, in theory, you should be able to pirate that movie because you've paid to watch it once.
No, you've paid to watch it once, I suppose. Whereas when you
well, no, you could argue you've paid to watch the movie. Now, if for some reason your mental faculties aren't enough for you to remember the movie, so you have to watch it again to remember a certain scene, should you have to pay for that privilege if you paid for it? Like, if our minds were all digital and you could recall everything you've ever done digitally, then yeah, you would pay once and you'd own it forever. Poor Maisie.
Oh, you fell off, didn't you, Bubs?
So yeah, rental and licenses. Again, technically, you can argue the same with Windows. When you purchase a Windows license, albeit very cheaply if you do it for our affiliate links, shameless plug, you own the license, but you only own the license to use it on that PC, technically. If you change the PC or change components, that is technically a different PC. So technically the license isn't always valid for that PC, even though you've bought it for your PC. If your PC changes, then are you still an owner or able to access it? And I guess, think of all of us that are here. I know that some of you are of a certain age group that I am, and even older. Those of you that have bought licenses for like Windows 3.1, Windows 95, Windows 98, SE, Millennium, 2000, Vista, XP, etc., etc. Now, we've all bought licenses for that, but if you try to install that on a piece of hardware now, either via a VM or actually on hardware, chances are you're going to have to buy a new license or pirate it. But you've already bought a license at some point. Just because the Microsoft activation servers aren't still active for that product, does that mean that you shouldn't activate that problem? You shouldn't be able to activate that product in a legal way.
But isn't our cache and stuff going to be like that eventually?
Probably, yeah. So yeah, Aletta says I buy audiobooks, but try to tell me what I can play them on. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you buy an audiobook, if you buy like an MP3 or whatever format that is in, like a movie format or a text format, why should you? Yeah, like Amazon. I think Amazon, if you buy Amazon books
Audible,
or Audible or whatever, you can only play it on an Amazon device. Seems a bit stupid. But then saying that, there's games you can buy on PlayStation which you can't play on PC and vice versa. So I guess it works in both directions. AJ says, I just turned 55. My first computer ran on coal. I expect most of ours did back then. It was before nuclear. Ira Open says, Windows XP Media Center Edition. Yeah, that's a great piece of software. Dutch Jan says, Windows XP activation can still be done with the phone. Really? I might have to try that.
But we should go back to the old ways of doing things and not be suckered into this whole way they're pushing us.
Des says he's not had an Xbox or PlayStation since 2017. I think the last console that I actually truly enjoyed was the Wii. Because when it came out, it was actually different, and it wasn't really. It was an family experience. You could play together. It very much reminded me of the early kind of Ataris and ColecoVisions and Nintendos of the past, where like the family or your friends would gather around and you would play a game and you'd hand over the joystick to your mate or whatever, and it would be an experience. You'd have it on the old TV, like either black and white or the old wooden framed colour TV, tune in the RF channel to the console, put in your cartridges and not have any save states, and try to get your high scores on Defender or Joust or whatever the game would be. And it was an experience where people got together. And I think with the Wii, because it was very much like that sort of interactive thing.
But it was also almost the age of our kids at the time as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think even back then, if we didn't have the kids, we'd have probably bought a Wii just because it was like, oh, that's a cool idea. It was neat, wasn't it? It was awesome. And it wasn't that expensive. Because what was a Wii brand new? Like 150 quid, 200 quid? It wasn't very expensive. And it was good fun. And you could get the games, physical media. You could even use your old games, I think, from a different console. I think it would use...
I don't think you could.
Could it or not?
I don't think you could.
I thought it had some backwards compatibility. Maybe it didn't.
It might have done, but we didn't have anything Nintendo before.
No, I think you could play GameCube games on it.
Maybe you could.
Yeah, GameCube games worked on it. But yeah, I think that was the last good console, which was actually different, entertaining, cost effective, and like just a cool experience that pretty much anyone could do.
Fling you around the room like that. God. Otis.
Just looking at the chat here.
Otis. It's naughty boys.
Aletta says, I haven't had a console since before there was internet. Dutch Jan says, I've never owned a console. That's the thing, like, AJ says, I've got a PS3, he's been gathering dust for many years. In the front room, there's George's PlayStation 3, I believe, which is gathering dust, not been switched on for months. Years, possibly. We've got an Xbox 360 somewhere.
We haven't.
Or bits of it. Got some bits of it somewhere. Got a bunch of Xbox 360 games.
Yeah, you bought me a load of games and then sold it.
Yeah. Upstairs, we've got a Wii, Nintendo Wii, which I think George has commandeered.
No, it's his.
He's got 3.
Sold ours.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And they bought it between them, didn't they?
So yeah, we've got a Wii. We've got a balance board somewhere. Probably still got batteries in it, which have exploded. Yeah, but George has got, like, he does retro gaming, so it's kind of making more sense now. But he's got PlayStation 4, a Wii, or 3 Wiis, I think. He's also just bought a Wii U, PlayStation 3, Switch.
I mean, his stocking, he wants a Switch too.
Yeah, he wants a Switch 2 in his stocking for Christmas.
And I'm like, George, Google how much the average stocking gift is.
Mental.
And I think it comes out as £56 for the whole stocking. But he's still going, but I've given Dad my list. It's like, you're not getting a bloody Switch in your stocking. I'm thinking about it. I don't think they should have stockings anymore.
No.
They're way too old.
I'll just read through the comments here. Where are we? Yeah, I think most people are in the same position where they've got a console and they probably haven't used it for years. John David Sullivan says he's got an Xbox One X, an Xbox Series X, a PS4 Pro, PS5, Switch, and Switch 2. Wow. I think actually the people that buy consoles generally tend to be those that play sports games, like FIFA. Like games like FIFA and that sort of thing are really good on console because that is kind of what they're designed for, and they work really well on. I still think that the PC is the ultimate games platform. And I think, if anything, Microsoft should ditch the consoles altogether and just work on a unified interface that you can run on basically any PC, tablet, or desktop, or whatever that's got a keyboard, a mouse, or a USB port, and uses hardware over the net to play games. And you don't really need a PC. You just need a internet connection, keyboard, mouse, and a joypad, and you use online servers which have got, I don't know what, RTX 4080s or something in them, and it renders the games online. But they need to work out, obviously, latency and connectivity issues and a sensible price, and then they could basically kill off PC gaming as such, and also console gaming in a fell swoop.
But don't you find they should really create some good games?
Good games would be a really good thing. Like,
would be better.
There's not been any real evolution or a revolution in games for a very, very long time.
I think the first Xbox was the best.
Portal was the last game which actually made PC gaming a bit different.
We got that 360. It was never as good games.
Yeah.
Then I went right off it all. I don't really play games now.
Dave Vickers says, I wish they'd bring Gran Turismo to PC. I think that is a way, again, that is also a thing. When you have like Atari, Nintendo, Sega, Microsoft, PlayStation, etc., they've all kind of got pros and cons, obviously, and they've also got their own games which they keep. Like, obviously, Sega was Sonic. PlayStation, there's multiple things. I've never owned a PlayStation. Mario on Nintendo. You get the general idea. So they've all got their like kind of their hero figure. But wouldn't it be so nice if it wasn't so much about consumerism? It was just actually about gaming, and that it was all cross-platform. Wouldn't that be great? That you wouldn't need to buy a console for every type of game that you enjoyed playing or wanted to play, where you could just play all the games on one device. Which I think is why retro gaming is so popular and getting a resurgence, because the consoles that are now classed as being more retro are easier to emulate, and you can run all those consoles on your PC in a program. You can get hold of the ROMs somehow, whether they're legally owned or whatever, but you can play all those games that you've bought or that you've loved over the years. You don't have to buy X amount of different consoles that you probably use once in a blue moon. Emulation, I think, is the way to go, and that is hence why I said about Microsoft or whoever, there needs to be some sort of cloud provider or cloud service which can run a localized version of whatever hardware you want on your device of access, whether it be your mobile phone, whether it be a tablet, whether it be a iPad, whatever, desktop PC, laptop. Wouldn't that be so much simpler? But it will never happen because of all the cross-licensing agreements, because essentially most game companies and most companies in general do not give a rat's ass about your experience. All they give a rat's ass about is how much of your wallet you can empty into their bank account. That is the sad truth of almost every company on the planet at this current time. And until there's a massive paradigm shift between consumerism to some form of collaboration, then that's the way it's going to be, unfortunately. Dutch Jan says, I still have a Windows 95 PC, Windows 98 PC, and an XP PC. That's cool. That is cool. Viali says, my first video game was a Binatone. Was that the Binatone 6-in-1 or 5-in-1? The orange and black thing? I vaguely remember those. AJ Haverkamp says competition is good. Competition is good up until the point that competition becomes greed.
And especially when they all are owned by the same companies anyway.
Yeah.
There is no competition really, is there?
AJ said, lol, just got a Nintendo ad. Somebody is eavesdropping. Oh, definitely they do that. Because now YouTube and the algorithm and etc. are really, really good at decoding what you say in real time, like for subtitles and stuff. So if they can produce a subtitle, they know what you're talking about. So if you're in a chat or a video and they're talking about something, there's almost 100, well not 100%, there's a strong likelihood you'll get an advert based on what is being talked about.
Your phone's listening to you, your TV's listening to you, your light bulbs are probably listening to you.
Ira Wolfman says Sega did the same thing Microsoft has been doing, but in the end they stopped making consoles. The next Xbox is a PC. 100%. The thing is, the original Xbox was a PC, but it just wasn't as easy to access it.
Didn't you put a new hard drive in George's to make it bigger straight away?
The first Xbox, I think if I remember rightly, was an Intel 733 or 700 megahertz processor. It was basically an Intel, sort of almost like a BX chipset on there, BX 440. It had a IDE hard drive. It had kind of USB ports, which are converted to the Xbox game ports. It was effectively a PC. I think even the disk drives, the optical disk drives, were like Lighton or Samsungs or whatever that you could buy for a PC. It was effectively a PC, and even the developer kit was a PC. So yeah, it's I think that's the way that things will go. And again, Sega decided they didn't want to be in the hardware market. They wanted to just sell the IP to companies, and it was their downfall, because you kind of need both. If you've got a really good product, or like a killer, like for Nintendo, obviously they got the Mario games. Mario games are very, very popular indeed. So in order to play Mario games, essentially you need to have Nintendo hardware. Now, obviously, that's not entirely true because you can emulate it. But if you want to play the latest and greatest titles, you have to play it on Nintendo hardware, and that is where they make a lot of money. And that is where Sega went wrong, because they had Sonic and various others, Crazy Taxi franchise, etc., and they were doing it on their hardware, and they basically blew it. And I think Microsoft are going to go down that route. I think Microsoft will stop doing dedicated Xbox hardware, and it will eventually be an Xbox service which will run on a PlayStation via the web browser. It'll run on a Switch, I guess, via some sort of web interface, or run on a PC as like Xbox for PC. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to go. Yeah, Xbox has a stripped down Windows kernel as well. Yeah, I think didn't it run on like DirectX 7 or something to start with? John Davison says they want to make everything a service. It's Microsoft through and through. Yeah, exactly. Well, Microsoft, like, if you think about it on a practical level as a company, yes, they got the Xbox gaming division, which makes probably some money. Not a lot, I would imagine. But they got other things like the Microsoft Cloud, the Azure 365, their cloud computing, Teams, all of those kind of blue chip company programs, the server side of it, etc., the hosting, the web storage, all that kind of stuff. That's where the real money is. Like, why would Microsoft try like hard to market a product to a consumer who's going to spend maybe, or make them about 150 quid's profit every 5 years, when they can sell services to corporates that are going to make them millions or billions every year? Like, it's an obvious thing. Like, Microsoft are tied into gaming because obviously PC gaming, and they don't really want to lose that. They don't really want to use that market share, but ultimately I don't think they would care, because as long as they've still got people using business PCs, running Outlook, using Word, running Excel, doing PowerPoint presentations. Like, that is their business. The game side of it is just like an add-on bonus. The real core of it is Office stuff. It always has been from day one. Microsoft, the first Microsoft operating system was designed for offices. It wasn't designed for PC gamers. Anyway, that is my thoughts on it. Let's see. Fred says got to go. Good night. So yeah, I think it's almost getting to that time. Also, the Dreamcast was hacked in less than a year. It's a shame because I like the Dreamcast. That was a cool console.
Maybe travel set.
That's some good music and games on that.
Listening to Radio Dark. That's what it called. What was that?
Metropolis Street Racer. What a great game. You're listening to Radio Metropolis.
That was it.
Yeah, that was great. That is one game, actually, I would love to play again now. There's Metropolis Street Racer and Need for Speed Underground, the first one. Both of those games I want to play.
And also, when you used to play on a console, you'd play it on a TV, so it was like everything was included, wasn't it?
It was a communal thing, wasn't it?
Even when it was like the same games as you play now.
Yeah. Dutch Jan says home PCs are a side issue. Yeah, definitely. And Dave Andrew says PCs were always about business first. Definitely. That's where the money is. Letta says I mainly use my PC for business. Well, if you think about it, technically I do as well. Because pretty much most of my day is researching for YouTube videos or learning or editing or buying products.
Buying me gifts.
I can't remember the last time I played a PC game.
You could say buy it, pull me gift.
Yeah, I need to get back into Fallout as well. Skystalker says, beware, most of those games don't age well. They are better left to fond memories. Fair dues. Never mind. Iroolfman says, EA will have a lot of layoffs as the new owners said they will use AI primarily to make games. See, I heard differently. I heard that they released a statement saying that at the moment they've got no... Yeah, the jobs at the moment are kind of safe and they have no plans to make any changes at the moment. Now, obviously, that is the caveat at the moment. But I didn't hear anything about them saying that we use AI to make games, which itself is interesting. Right, that is us on the 3-hour marker. So
they want to train AI to recycle everyone's rubbish.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
And then one less job to do.
I think that is going to pretty much exhaust that conversation. It's one that can go on forever and ever. If you wish to discuss it further, please feel free to join our Discord. You're very welcome to do so, and have a chat about whatever technical things you want or anything in general. The choice is yours. Or better still, just check out some of the deals if you're in the UK or Ireland or Wales, Scotland. You can check out the deals in the eBay bot. We will try at some point to expand that so it covers other countries, but it still is very much a work in progress, so we'll see how things go. Thanks once again to Dave for the loan of the case and also the graphics card. Much appreciated. Thank you all for your kindness and your contributions, be it monetary or just your time in watching the videos and clicking on the like and sharing the hell out of the videos, because that is much appreciated. I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Hopefully you all have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and for those of you that are being affected by Storm Amy at the moment, hopefully it dissipates soon and we have a lovely day tomorrow. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Have a great weekend and we'll catch you same time next week. Cheerio. Bye. Have a great weekend. I can't remember which button I pressed. Oh yeah, it's that one there. Good night everyone. See you later.